know what's going on. The number one Sunday night live stream on YouTube. That's right, folks. Woo! Woo! Okay? The number one. The number one. You know what? Let's do it again. Run it back, dude. Run it back. The number one live stream on Sunday nights only. You're here, folks. You're here. You've now tuned in. Huh? You're now rocking with the best. Woo! This is it, dude. This is it. All right. All right. Hey, we have fun here, don't we? JD, what up? Seahawks win, Oregon, blah, 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 dude. The ball's juice, folks. Saw it live. We'll talk about it later. Shot Simple, what up? You're gonna wanna be part of this. Be getting to Levi's like 11 a.m. All right, I don't think I'll be there that early because I gotta wait for my buddy. I'm gonna try to get there as soon as I can, though. All right, I gotta stop slouching. I gotta adjust this because I notice when I do the live streams, I'm just always slouching like this, and I'm trying to fix my posture, dude. The kid's getting old. I don't want to be a hunchback, and that's that. So USC does have OJ's number retired. Nice. What's up, Mark? Is the puck juiced? Not for Macklin Celebrini, I'll tell you that much. Sharks just won. That's why I'm a little late. I was watching the Sharks game. You know how it goes, dude. You know how it goes. So we're going to talk about sports goats. I'm going to break down why Ohtani's not the GOAT, finally. All right. Now, here's the problem. Baseball Reference did block my IP for some reason. So, luckily, I had a screenshot, but I won't be able to do the comparisons. It won't allow me for some reason. And yes, oh, dude, he's going to be at Monday Night Football tomorrow, isn't he? Isn't he? Yes. All right. He's going to be at Monday Night Football tomorrow. And that's that, dude. He's going to be at Monday Night Football. And he's going to see what's what, dude. He's going to see what's what. Okay? Mugs with sunglasses, Wario Bauer. Not sure how to say that, but what up? I'm assuming you're in a good mood after the Sharkies game. You know, yeah. Get yourself a Shock Doctor posture brace. I gotta look into that. What else, man? What else? I want to go over some stuff before we get into the nitty gritty. I do got some show and tell for you guys. Quick couple little things. I've been talking about like working on my display case for like a year now. I finally started it. I finally started putting it together. Put a little display. Dude, got some green felt, dude. Got some green felt to kind of look like grass. You know, like, come on, dude. Yeah, so that's been fun. You know, you can follow along on the Discord. I'll probably put a TikTok or two out also. But that's been fun. But the problem is with my display case, I wanted it to be a little bit of everything, just like my brain works. You know, I was gonna put like my baseball stuff, Willie Mays and Barry Bonds autographs. Like, all that stuff. Plus, I was gonna put like some Disneyland stuff. Like, it was gonna be all over the place, right? But like, it's gonna be so baseball heavy now because there's way more cool baseball stuff. Like for 49ers, I don't have that much cool stuff. Like I have, the helmet and the sourdough Sam back there, but I don't really. I have autographs, but they're all on like 8x12 photos. They don't really go in a display case. And it's like football just doesn't have as much cool like merch. You know what I mean? I might put some of my candlestick stuff in there. Like I still have like the farewell candlestick, little glow stick somewhere. But yeah, just baseball has like cooler souvenirs, so it's like it's hard not to go baseball heavy with the display case, Um, and like with the Warriors, I got some Steph Curry stuff, but nothing too major. Um, so it's like it's gonna be so baseball heavy, and that wasn't the plan, but you're talking to someone that just has Vita Blues autographs just sitting around. You know what I mean? I got two more Vita Blue autographs over here. And there might be a fourth around here too, because I think I have another card that's signed. So yeah, that's the person you're dealing with, right? That's the person you're dealing with. Now he does have Latrell Sprewell cards also just sitting around, right? That you tell me another YouTuber or live streamer that just has a pile of Latrell Sprewell cards sitting around, dude, and I'll give it up. But until then, I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest to ever do it. Until then, dude, until you can prove to me that I Show Speed and Kai Cenat have a pile of Latrell Sprewell cards sitting around, I'm the best. I'm the best. Okay? No debate. Ohtani is the GOAT. Talk to my lawyer. I mean, not even close. And thanks for saying that, because I'm gonna destroy that argument with facts and not feelings. Much as I hurt to admit Tom Brady's the GOAT, it's hard to argue against Tom Brady. If anyone says Tom Brady's the GOAT, I don't know if I'm 100% on that, but I can't argue it. There's no good argument against it, really, except for like Montana's 4-0 in the Super Bowl. That's kind of the best argument, but Tom Brady's sustained level of success, the numbers he put up, it is really hard. It's not like the Ohtani debate's an easy one to disprove. Like it's that simple, and you guys will see, dude. I'll tie one arm behind my back and blindfold myself and easily prove that Ohtani's nowhere near the GOAT. But Tom Brady, I don't. That's if I wanted to make an argument, I don't know if I could. I mean, the only I think actually, so the two arguments, is Montana, and that I'm not just saying that as obviously I'm a Niner fan, and so I'm definitely biased towards Joe, but another good argument is just Jerry Rice if we're talking about in general. Although most people, when they're talking about football, they're gonna pick a quarterback. That's the only thing. But if you're talking about just like individual success and excelling, Jerry Rice is a very good argument. And I think there's a lot of defensive players you could probably put in there too. I don't even want to say Reggie White, but Reggie White's up there. Lawrence Taylor, Deion Sanders is up there as far as just excelling in their role. There's a lot of good guys out there, dude. A lot of good guys. I think Barry Sanders that's someone who I think, we'll get into this later, actually. Like the difference of like ability versus actuality. Wasn't OG Sourdough Sam had two revolvers shooting them in different directions? I don't remember if he ever had revolvers. I mean, there's the old logo they're shooting, but that wasn't necessarily supposed to be Sourdough Sam. I guess it could be. Ayuk was on fire. Now he's fired. Yeah, let's talk about Ayuk too. Let me add that to my notes so I don't forget. I totally forgot about the Ayuk thing. I forgot to add that to my notes. I don't want to forget. That's right. What's up, Josie? Oh yeah, the Niners logo. Yeah, best part about a collection is that it never ends. You can always add to it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The thing is, with my display case, I'm trying to make it almost like an art piece. I'm trying to like put it together like so. Then to add stuff is a little harder because I'm not just putting stuff in. I'm designing it in a way. Like I can still add to it and change it, but it's more work than just like, oh, I got a new piece, let me add it. Um, but I mean, whatever. That's obviously that's not like a necessarily a problem. It's just Voodoo Doll, PJ Carlissimo. Montana's probably second or third. I accept that argument. Bill Walsh is probably one of the best coaches. Yeah, I think Bill Walsh just didn't coach long enough in the NFL to say he's the GOAT coach. This could go back to like ability versus actuality as well. Belichick is hard to argue against as well. And it pains me to say that because I hated the Patriots. His career collapsed when Brady left. I mean, it wasn't just because Brady left, though. A lot of things happened, you know? Mahomes is an overrated GOAT. Dude's lucky in all his victories. Mahomes is incredible. He really is. He annoys me to all ends, but obviously he had a chance to be the GOAT. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's coming back down to earth. And he's one of the guys, look, he inherited a Super Bowl caliber team, you know? Those things matter. Well, I want to get into that later, though. Go to football has to be Brady. Yeah, I get it, Josie. I do. It just pains me to say, you know? Lawrence Taylor said Tom Brady has all the rules for him. Yeah, that's definitely a knock against him. But look, this is the thing. You have to judge people by their eras. Say Marty and Brady had Gronk. Yeah, but I mean, everybody. I don't discredit people for who they played with, really. Birmingham FC Stadium. Let me take a look. What's that? Wait, Birmingham. Wait, I saw this. I thought these were. I thought this was Birmingham, Alabama. I thought they were supposed to be like part of the Iron. Oh, it's a powerhouse. Now I did see these. That's so funny, dude. I really thought. All right, let me show you guys so you know what I'm talking about. Um, so these renderings came out. They're hugely like very divisive. A lot of people hate this. But then people were like, "Oh, you just want the cookie cutter stadiums that we keep getting? Like at least this one has character," which I 100% agree with. I swear to God, when I saw this and it said Birmingham, I thought this was Alabama because Birmingham, Alabama, the steel and iron industry, there was there's smokestacks like this all over the city. There's one that's like a historic park where they preserved it. So you just always on the horizon you see these like smokestacks. So I really when I thought saw this posted, I didn't see an article with it. I just saw the photos and said Birmingham. I really thought this was for a soccer club in Alabama, but it turns out it's in England. All right, different Birmingham, the original Birmingham. So reflecting old brickworks that sat on the site. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love this. Like, do crazy stuff, man. I don't want this all the stadiums and arenas to look the same. But that is hilarious. I really thought this was for Birmingham. I mean Birmingham, Alabama. That is funny. Um, let me see if I can find the. I'll show you guys. Sloss Furnaces, I think, is one. Yeah, Sloss Furnaces. Um, show you guys. So there's stuff like this all over Birmingham, Alabama. Well, this is the best preserved one, but even on the horizon, you'll see in an upcoming video that I'm editing right now, actually, with Bobble Cheeks, the history of Bobble Cheeks. You'll see that on the horizon of Alabama, you see all kinds of stuff like this. So I really thought it was Birmingham, Alabama. That is so funny. That is funny stuff, guys. All right, and that's that. Um, who's a goat of baseball manager? Shoot, that's a good question. That's a good question. It's got to be Sparky Anderson. um, yeah, Connie Mack definitely should be brought up, but I just feel like he had too many bad years last half of his career. Um, he was sleeping in the dugout and stuff apparently. But obviously Connie Mack's a name you're gonna throw out there. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are gonna say like probably Joe Torre and stuff. Like there's gonna be a lot of like more recent names, but I don't know. There's been so many great managers. If we're gonna say recent names, I'm gonna say Bochy. Talk to my lawyers. Raiders fired Chip Kelly. Finally. Goodness. I'm a minority, but I have a soft spot for the Patriots with Brady. Nostalgia. Tom Brady and the Patriots run is one of those things where I hated him at the time, but once it's over with hindsight, then it's like that was, it was impressive, and so I appreciate it more. Birmingham, UK, seem to be blue collar towns. Yeah, Cal fired their head coach too. Birmingham, UK is a very industrial city like the Alabama one. Yeah, it makes sense. It's funny that I thought it was a Alabama team. Such a dope stadium. I agree. I hope they actually do it. Birmingham Legion FC. They play at Protected. Is it Protective Stadium? Is that the name of it? I don't know why there's no skyscrapers in a lot of European cities. Eiffel Tower is deeply controversial. Yeah, I heard that too. Oakland got one of those abandoned mills. I think isn't the Oakland one like a grain silo or something like that? I don't think there's a definitive go to baseball managers. Probably not. Reminds me of the proposed Chelsea Stadium. Yeah, I remember we talked about that one before. Yeah, it's in that Birmingham Stadium I just showed. Like Shaw Simple just said, it's supposed to have, what is it gonna fit, like 60,000+ people? It's gonna be huge. Chip has lost his fastball as a coach. I don't know if he ever had a fastball. Look, his schemes and all the stuff he does works in college. It doesn't work at a pro level, and it's been shown time and time again. Bay Area throwbacks in the house. Macklin Celebrini's good friend. Hate the Patriots because of a certain incident in the Super Bowl. Yeah. What else? Yeah, I will always support these new stadiums that look crazy, dude. Do a crazy stadium. Do it up, dude. You know what I want to see on a stadium that looks like, that old silent film where it had like the elephant columns and stuff, and then the mall in LA was like, that was built on where they built the original set, and then they replaced that land where the set was. I guess the set sat there like abandoned for decades. And then eventually a mall was built on that land, and then in the mall they did like the elephant columns and stuff to pay homage. I forgot the name of the movie. Very famous old silent film. But that's what I want. I want a stadium with like big elephant columns or something. Like, get crazy, dude. You know what I mean? If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ever get a new stadium, I don't want just the pirate ship. I mean, I love the pirate ship, but I don't want just the pirate ship. I want the whole stadium to look like Tortuga, dude. Okay? Make the whole stadium Tortuga. And have multiple pirate ships. And I want the pirate ship on the field, in play. Okay? Talk to my lawyers. That's that. Sure, you seen the video? There's a pretty dope video on the new Birmingham Stadium. No, I didn't see that. Let me see it. See if I can find it. I gotta watch which videos I play though, because last week my live stream got dinged because I showed a 4-second clip of Draymond Green getting into it with the fan. So dumb, dude. You know? So dumb. Announcement video. All right. Hopefully this doesn't get me blocked. Wheels site. Small Heath, Birmingham. Dude, what is that? A go-kart track? Racetrack? That's pretty cool. Dude, I want to go. I wish I could go see the site before they do anything. I want to race on the track, dude. All right, it's a long video. I'm going to skip ahead. Dude! Speaking of Tommy Boy. All right, here it is. Here it is. Dude, that thing is huge. Dude, can you imagine if they build those chimney stack things? It's very I'm assuming like the engineering style is very much like the Alamo Dome, where it's got the towers with the cables. Dude, give me one of those models. I need that model. Is that one of the players? Dude, that's awesome. This is awesome. And I love that some people are making fun of it and they think it sucks. I love that. That means you're doing something right. You got to push the boundaries. You got to. You got to push the boundaries, dude. Dude, that's a screen on the outside. That's wild. Dude, what is that river? Yeah, this is cool. Dang. Yeah, this would be awesome. So no interesting in the proposal there's no center screen. It's like a halo screen that goes around the whole thing instead of hanging in the middle like SoFi. I'll be honest, I don't even really like the halo screen at SoFi. It's just awkward. Dude, what are those like practice fields on top of the buildings next door? I love all the brick. Yeah, dude, do this. Do this. The powerhouse. Nice. So they're building it. It's already there. It's a done deal or what? I want to see, dude. I want to see chimney sweeps, dude. Walking. I think the current Titan Stadium has a mini Broadway behind one of the end zones. It's the designs I want to build for the new Redskins Stadium. Um, I don't know if I saw those. I did see they fixed the roof at Tropicana Field. Um, new stadium renderings. Um, oh, I did see the Redskins one. I think. Or am I thinking of the other one? Cause yeah, no, it's not this one. What's the other proposal that just came out and it looks exactly like Allegiant Stadium inside? People were like criticizing it. This looks pretty cool. The outside looks cool, anyways. Looks different. They're right in line with the Washington Monument down there. That's cool. And again, no center screen here. Is that what is that? The Capitol down there? That would be a crazy view. I like this. I like this. This is cool. Is that housing? Um, you know what's always funny about renderings like this? They just show people just chilling on the grass and stuff, and it's almost never like that. You know, it'll be all, it'll be all. What's it called? I can't even think of like the term, but it'll be ticketed and there'll be booths and there'll be like signs. Don't go here. Don't do this. Don't you dare. You know, it'd be like booths set up and advertisements and all kinds of stuff. It's never just this free, you know? It's never just free and you can just frolic, but in all the proposals it always makes it seem like that, you know. But yeah, these are cool. You're not going to be able to frolic though. Don't you dare frolic, dude. Don't you dare frolic. I don't know. Roof is supposed to be made of heavy timber. Wow. What is the expected opening date of this stadium? Which one? The Birmingham one? Let's see. Behind a paywall. Can't read that. New stadium to be completed for the start of the 2030 season. So quite a ways away. Well, I guess not because time's flying and we can't stop it. We're all going to be in the ground soon. At least that's what my anxiety tells me. Craziest part, Birmingham City don't even play in the Premier League. They play in the second tier. Yeah, that is wild. And they're going to get that amazing stadium. So British people were pretty stuck in their ways. Seeing the Halo board at Mercedes-Benz Stadium worked fine. I mean, they're okay. The one in SoFi I don't really like. I think it is where RFK is. Jacksonville Jaguars is going to play in Orlando. I didn't know that. Roof is supposed to be made out of large timber wood. That's interesting. New Commanders Stadium, RFK Stadium. Supposed to be converting all the parking lot into apartments, making Football Village. I miss when we name stadiums after people. Agreed. Washington is a very unique town because of the sightline restrictions. The Capitol is the tallest building. I think a Football Village doesn't work out as well as a Ballpark Village. Yeah, not typically. Capitol Washington. Because of the straight lines, the park was in view of the Capitol. If you look at the map, you see with the RFK Stadium, there's always designed that you can see it. But now with this new design, it's going to be more obvious. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see Ralph Wilson Stadium, and also, you know, Highmark 2 is right next door. So that's another one to keep an eye on. Like pretty cool design, I guess. Not like the coolest design ever, but cool enough, you know. Mercedes-Benz went to SMR, got tickets during the Timbers Army, handed out a certain allotted amount of tickets. Tickets in MLS Cup were technically free. Nice. Yeah, what else is up, dude? All right, so Chip Kelly finally got his comeuppance. uh dude. Chip Kelly is not an NFL caliber coach. I'm sorry. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. Um what else? What else are we gonna talk about? What are we gonna talk about, guys? What's on the docket? Huh? We're gonna talk about sports coats. That's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about show and tell. Eventually get promoted. Have to finish in the top 3. I mean, having a new stadium like that might attract some good players and stuff, though. I think it all helps. The Bears, the Bears won. Bears are looking pretty good. Bears are looking pretty good. The Raiders should get rid of Geno. Yeah, I mean, they don't really have any options right now, though. Oh yeah, Ayuk. All right, so Brandon Ayuk. This last few years, for whatever reason, the 49ers have been dealing with receiver drama. And I'll be honest, it's damaging my love for football. And I know it's like, oh, it's just one guy, whatever, but it's like stuff like this just really makes me emotionally, mentally check out of sports. And I always go through phases with sports. Like actually doing this channel like keeps me more engaged than I usually am, or have been in the past. Like there's times where I kind of like don't pay attention as much to a sport for a few years because I'm just like, there's nothing. So like with the NBA, I was very checked out of the NBA. Like 2008, 2009 to like 2014. And there was times in there like 2011 I went to a bunch of Warriors games, big on Monte Ellis and all that. But like I wasn't really checking for it. And a lot of that was because of like LeBron going to Miami. I felt like all the refs were dirty. I felt like they were constantly cheating for the Lakers. I still feel like they were. I don't think that was a conspiracy theory. I think they were swaying games. Obviously, Tim Donaghy went to prison, and there's legitimate evidence. And I would just see some of the stupid things that would happen, and just it made me lose love for the NBA. And then all the teams or all the players just clicking up and trying to form super teams. Just if it wasn't for Steph Curry holding it together for the Warriors, like I would have been checked out of the NBA for a while now. And there's a lot of just the newer superstars. I just don't respect their game that much. So if it wasn't for Steph, it's like it would be hard. It would be hard to watch the foul baiting and all that. And I'll give you an example of like what really bothered me in the NBA. We already knew like 2002 happened with the Lakers Kings and all that. Tim Donaghy stuff happened. And then there was I forgot which season it was, but it was a season when one of the last, couple years of Kobe Bryant's career. And the Lakers were basically out of a playoff spot. They were like 10 seed, something like that. This is before the play-in, right? So they were like 10 seed-ish. I can't remember the specifics, so I might get some little things wrong, little details wrong, but yeah. The Lakers were just dwindling. And then the last 2 months of the season or whatever it was, the Lakers were shooting like more than double the free throws of their opponent every night until they snuck into like that 8th seed and then barely made the playoffs. And it's just like, so like the NBA just didn't want to have the playoffs without the Lakers or what? because now they're shooting double the amount of free throws until they sneak into that spot. It's just stuff like that just made me. And obviously, I don't know if that was rigged. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it just happened like that. But with everything going on in the NBA, that just made me just be like, I don't, um, and but and parts of me are feeling that way now with like the Dodgers outspending everybody and the bottom teams refusing to spend. And it's just like, does anyone love the game anymore? And so stuff like Ayuk and Debo, two players that I really, really liked, you know, just constantly stirring drama, constantly complaining, constantly having their family members on social media, rage baiting. It just makes me just be like, dude, like that mixed with the injuries, not just to the 49ers, just injuries in general just seem to be so much worse in the NFL. Now, I don't know the data. I don't know if the data backs that up, but that's how it feels. When it's like every season there's just a handful of superstar players that are out for the season, because of injuries. And it just didn't seem like it used to be like that. Again, that could just be my my perception. I could be wrong. But that's how it feels. And it takes a lot, man, for me to side with a team over a player. You guys know I hate all the owners. I hate all the executives. I hate the whole model of the way sports is ran. I hate that people are becoming billionaires and don't have to throw a single pass, Like they don't have to make contact with a single off-speed pitch, but they're making the most money. So yeah, I hate all the ownership. I hate the teams. I hate the model. I want the players to get paid. I think they should get the bulk of the profits. I think it's always the players first. I always will be on the side of the players. So it takes a lot for a player to make me side with the team. But it's like, with Ayuk, it's like, bro, what do you want, dude? Like, you got the extension you wanted. They've still saved you a spot when they could have moved on for 4 years now. They still want you involved. The fan base loved you and adored you. Same with Debo. It's like, bro, why are you always complaining? You got a fan base that adores you. You got paid. You're on a Super Bowl contender. Like, what is missing? And then so you go to the Commanders to win 3 games more than halfway through the season? Like, what are we doing, man? It's like, as much as I want the players to get paid and I don't like the ownership or the executives or the front offices, at the same time, it's like, can you at least be a little grateful? Like, can you at least show you care? There's some passion there. Because then we got guys like, George Kittle, Fred Warner that just buy in. And as a 49er fan, like the pain of seeing people like Patrick Willis, Frank Gore, Joe Staley never getting over the hump and just giving it their all. And then we have another window. We're lucky enough as a fan base to have another window open not that long after they're all gone. And these receivers just keep complaining. And Jawan Jennings was like even starting to complain this year. Like, what is going on with the receivers? Like Trent Williams, he was holding out. He wanted a new contract. Made no drama about it. He didn't have his family on social media taking little subtle shots at the team. Like, he just handled his business like a man, and then he's there. He buys in, plays through injury. Like, he actually cares. So it's just like stuff like that. Like Brandon Ayuk is just like, bro, like, and then, in the midst of all this, he just posts like new chains he buys and stuff. And it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? It's just, I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm just getting old. But I'm tired of it, man. I'm just tired of it. What do you guys think? Anytime Aaron Rodgers loses, a great day. Rams look like the team to beat. Unfortunately, they do look good. They built a new soccer stadium to go from second league to Premier League. It's that me espresso. I don't like the wide receiver diva drama. I think it's even same for blue collar receiver like Edelman. Yeah. I think the 2020 NBA should never finish up. They should never gave the Lakers a championship that year. Kevin, I don't know if I 100% agree with that, but I think it should be different. And I've said that from the beginning. I think all the 2020 championships of the shortened season, Dodgers included. Now, it sounds like I'm a hater because it's Dodgers and Lakers, but I would have felt like this no matter what the team. You won, you got a championship, but it should just be different. It should be a one-off trophy, like they won the COVID Cup or something. It shouldn't count the same when you only played. You didn't play everybody, like not everybody. It's too much. It was too different to give the same award. You know what I mean? So as soon as Steph is retired, I'm out. Shot simple. I feel like I'm right there with you. I hate to say that, but I do. Current gambling scandal. Yeah, the gambling is killing it. What's up, Ruben? Not gonna lie, once Steph retires, I think the NBA is gonna drop off for me. Yeah, for sure. It's like, dude, these players just bounce around to a million teams. It's like, so they purposely have to include large market teams. Yeah. Injuries in terms of raw number is probably worse than the NFL. That's not a fair comparison. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't know the data. It just feels like when I was younger, I don't remember losing a star player every single year out for the season. And now it happens multiple times. We got the 49ers this year, started without Ayuk. We lost Fred Warner. We lost Bosa. Brock missed significant time. It's just like, I think the steroids will help the NBA. I'm pro steroid. I think they should use whatever they need to use. I'm pro player, but I'm not a fan of people who change their team whenever. Yeah. Almost reminds me of the whole AB drama. I mean, AB was out of his mind. He is out of his mind. Sometimes enough just isn't enough when you made every attempt to make them happy. It just seems like they don't really actually care about the game, It's like, what else do you want? Like, they were in such a great situation. Like, do they just not realize that not every team has it as good, or every player has it as good? Like, they weren't wallowing away on the Jacksonville Jaguars, you know what I mean? Like, they got to play in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. And they got paid. It's not like they didn't get paid. Pecking order in terms of importance is motorsports, soccer, hockey, baseball, football, basketball. Wow, basketball all the way at the bottom. I feel like the wide receiver know the team isn't going to win the Super Bowl, so they just want to be paid. Maybe. But it's like, I'm used to Jerry Rice, dude. Like, one of the hardest workers out there. Like, Jerry Rice reached the highest peaks possible in his sport. Champion, Hall of Famer, legend, icon, record holder. The highest possible peaks were reached by Jerry Rice. And he's still there on the sidelines getting hype. He still loves the game. He still loves the fan base. Like, he never complained. He never caused drama off the field. It's like, so why do these guys, and they're just going to be out of the league in a couple years? Like, it almost seems like people like Ayuk and Debo just think they're going to play forever or something. It's like, you better make the most of it, man. Like, you got paid and you get to possibly win a championship and become a legend. I think for 2020, you should give every team an asterisk, still getting the recognition. Yeah, I agree, Ruben. I just think they should have got a different trophy, like a one-off trophy. Dodgers, Lakers. I think football, they played a full season, didn't they? So football, I think that can stay the same. But like, they still had to deal with COVID restrictions, people being out with COVID. It's like baseball, they played a third of the season. A lot of players didn't even play. They opted out of the season. Like, it wasn't the same. And I'm not trying to say that to take away from the Dodgers. I'm just saying it wasn't the same. It shouldn't be the same trophy. Like, the Lakers should get like a bubble championship trophy. Like, they should call it like not bubble tournament, because that sounds disrespectful. And I'm really not trying to be disrespectful. It should be like a bubble tournament champion. something like that. And it make a whole new one-off trophy, and you get to be the only team to ever win. Like, owners should have fired Silver after the gambling scandal came out. I mean, yeah, they've already been sweeping the gambling thing under the rug. There's 3 of us that feel that way about the NBA. Once Steph is gone, it's going to dip dramatically. Yeah, and obviously Steph is still like, he's still one of the highest like draws. Like, all the highest rated games is Steph Curry games. NBA Finals ratings were so far down this past season. But I don't really like talking about ratings and stuff. I think that's like bowing down to this corporate, like, I don't know. I'm weird about that. Unfortunately, you can't say that in baseball because there are several strike seasons where they weren't able to play. No, I think there is a level to it. So like 94, like some of the records hold up. They played the majority of the season. Like, but if you have a significantly shortened season, I'm not talking about a season where they missed 15 games in a 162 game season, but they played 60 games. That's too significant of a difference. If it's a small percentage of a difference and everyone played, because remember in 2020, a lot of people didn't play. Buster Posey didn't play. Like, a lot of players opted out of the season. I just think it should count differently. Growing up, I remember a player being out maybe once or twice a season. Now it happens almost every week. Yeah, just ask LeBron. It was harder to win a championship at Disneyland. Yeah. I mean, look, even if it was harder and they're right about that, cool. Then make a trophy that said we won the more difficult championship. I just don't think it should be the same. I wonder if players only care about money more than love of the game. Winning championships is nice, but it's not priority. Well, see, these players like Ayuk and Debo, they don't understand that, like, being a champion forever is something that you can monetize. Like, that's it. Your legacy is better than if you just like, oh, I was really good for a while, and I sold some jerseys, but then after you just fizzle away. But when you're a champion, you're like kind of always relevant. You know? The Warriors just had the 75 team on the court. Like, they're always going to be relevant. And yeah, you can get those millions up front, maybe a few more million. That won't really even change your life that much because you already got multiple tens of millions. So you might be able to go somewhere and make a few more million or whatever. But like, wouldn't you trade if you already had $80 million? Would you not trade 3 or 4 million to also win a championship and like be adored by a whole region of people? I don't know. I would. Give LeBron a trophy that no one else can win. That's right up his alley. Yeah, no, he would. I would think he would love that. It just shouldn't count as a regular championship, in my opinion. Only league in sport where the league is immune to any scandals, the NFL. The NFL is big. The Disney Cup. That'd be dope. Yeah, man. I don't know. I wish these players cared more like we do as fans. It's a bummer when they don't, you know? It's just, yeah, like with the NBA too, it's like, you know, one thing, if I was king of the NBA, one of the first changes I would do, automatic technical foul. If before a play's even over, you already start crying to the ref. I'll make it, you can't cry to the ref except during stoppages. And this is mostly selfish. You know why? Because I'm so sick of amazing highlight plays happening and the highlight is ruined because as soon as the ball's up, everyone's like if you ask the players, every play is a foul. Like the players, like any contact, they're like, oh, where's the foul? Like, dude, just, you're ruining it, you know? You're ruining it, dude. That's why we have plays like some of the dopest highlights of all time, like Pippen dunking on who'd he dunk on? And he pushed him down. He didn't immediately look at the ref to get the call. And that's one of the coolest highlights ever. You know? I don't know, dude. Am I crazy? I might be. But it's just stuff like that just makes me not love the game. And stuff like, Ayuk, it's like, bro, like, what are you going to get elsewhere? What is missing? It's like they just seem so immature. Like they're looking for this like weird adoration from the team or something. Like they want the team to like just praise them. I don't like I don't get it. I don't know what they want. I couldn't even tell you what Brandon Ayuk even wants. He got paid. He's still important to the team. They still, they still are saving him a spot. They didn't go out and try to replace him. He asked for a trade. They looked around. He didn't want the trade. He took the extension instead. What else do you want, dude? You could have had a whole stadium of people wearing an Ayuk jersey for the next 60 years if you would have just played your heart out for us, And now you're just going to be another guy had a lot of potential, had some great moments, but now he's going to have multiple jerseys. And it's like you had a horrific injury and the team still had your back. I don't know, dude. Whatever. How short was the NHL season that year? They wear another team's jersey. I think they always get the same amount of support. Yeah, and they won't. First to win the in-season tournament that no one cares about, his very first Disney Cup. Surely makes him the GOAT. I mean, it's only a shortened season. It's the fact a lot of them played in empty stadiums and gyms. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that all matters, Look at DK Metcalf and the Seahawks moved on. Yeah, a lot of these players just have such an ego, and it's like, bro, like Debo went to the Commanders. He doesn't even have he has less than 600 all-purpose yards so far this season. Like he's not doing nothing, dude. And the Commanders are, what are they, 3-8? I didn't see what they did if they played today. But they're like way down the standings. It's like, what did you get out of that? And I think with Debo, the 49ers told him straight up, like they're not going to give him another fat contract. So maybe that was it. But that's not even, the business side is not even what bothers me. What bothers me is, look, these teams got to start interviewing the family members more during the draft process. Like, they need background checks, dude, because I'm so sick of the family members just stirring up drama with the teams with their little tweets and their Instagram posts. It makes me just lose love for the game. It really does. It's like, why am I going to spend so much time and effort and energy, investing myself in this team and spending my money and going to games and cheering and losing my voice when at the end of the day, it's like you don't even want to be there. You just want to get paid. You want people to just pat you on the back. Like players, they got to be more grateful and they got to match our energy as fans. They have to, man. And I say the same thing when the fans don't match the energy. I get pissed off, dude. When Chase Center's all quiet, golf clapping when Steph Curry's doing amazing things. You know how angry I get when Steph Curry has to look at the crowd and try to amp them up? You know how angry that makes me? The crowd is not holding up their end of the bargain. The fans are not holding up their end of the bargain. I saw another thing that pissed me off. Here we go. Steph Curry. He's getting old. He's getting up there. So obviously people were talking about the end of his career. What's going to happen? I saw a TikTok where someone's like, it was a they were using a trending audio or whatever, and it was saying basically like, oh, when Steph Curry retires, you're gonna still support the Warriors, and it was like, F no, no way, something like that. I'm just like, bro, like I can't stand player fans, dude. I really can't. Like, do you guys not realize that you're like ruining a lot of the magic of sports? Like, a lot of people in the comments were like laughing. They're like, "Yeah, as soon as Curry's gone, I'm going to the Spurs and Wemby." Dude, that is just the way people just openly are proud that they lack integrity nowadays is just astounding to me. And that's why, like, when I see, like I said, was last week or the week before, some of these fans who aren't from the Bay Area that are like Warriors fans, I'm just like, bro, just sit back. You wasn't with us shooting in the gym. You know what I mean? You weren't there. You weren't there when we missed on every draft pick, like I was, like a lot of us were. You know? Todd Fuller, dude. Mike Dunleavy, dude. Adonal Foyle, dude. And so it just irritates me when like players fans, all you get to do is just enjoy the mountaintop. You just get to bounce around and just be privileged enough to just only be on top. Like, that's not fair, dude. That's like you're ruining the whole point. Plus, like, there's the magic of a city or a region taking part in something collectively and going to the venue or going to sports bars or like parties, Super Bowl parties, all this stuff. Like when your team's in it and collectively as a region, you get to be driving down the street and you see people with a flag of your team and you get to honk and fist pump. And so player fans, you're ruining that. Like, dude, imagine there's a superstar player. He's playing for the Memphis Grizzlies and it ain't Ja Morant. Now let's say the fictional player and he's playing for Memphis. Like, if you go to Memphis, or like, trying to set this up and I'm losing it. But all right, if you go to an arena, imagine if it's not like Memphis fans. It's just everybody's just rooting for a different player. There's no collective fan base. Obviously, that's like super extreme example, but like imagine if there's no collective fan base and we're just all fans of different players. How's that fun, dude? The fun of it is that you have collective fan bases. And it's like I can't stand LeBron fans that just they were Cavs fans, then they were Heat fans, then they were Cavs fans, now they're Lakers fans. Like, dude, you're so undeserving of good things. It's just such weirdo behavior, man. Just no loyalty. Watch those people, dude. Do not go into business with people like that. What up, William? I already just talked about the Ayuk thing, so I think you probably jumped on a little late. Jerry McKinnon spent his 9 or 10 year on IR, had the nerve to talk crap about them. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, William, that's kind of what led into this, actually. Want to see something even crazy? Look at college football. The entire roster becomes free agents. NIL is a tough one because, like, I think it was messed up that these colleges and the NCAA were making so much money on these athletes. But then, like, the athletes getting the money is also ruining the game. So it's like there's no good solution there. It's really interesting. I only see the whole COVID championship debate in U.S. sports. In European football, no one ever mentions the COVID seasons. Too many techies in Patagonia vests, 100%. Think the Warriors will retire number 30? Unfortunately, I hate retired numbers, so I don't want them to, but they will. I said I can't remember which game, but there was a game this season. Could have been the Nuggets. There was a Warriors chant. It made me smile. It's the Chase Chase Center fans this season seem to be doing all right. A little better. Warriors fans of Oakland appreciate the Warriors. Yeah. When I say I won't watch the NBA and stuff, I won't start supporting another team. I'm Warrior for life. I just don't like the NBA without Steph. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think after Steph, I'll be very casual with the NBA. Blazers deserve LeBron far more than Lakers. Yeah. Glory seekers. That's a good term for it. Some refer to it as a football timeline said from where'd he go from? Chelsea. Um Dude, who deleted their comment? So he's Chelsea, Barcelona, some other team. Yeah, nah, that's the worst, dude. That's the worst. I don't want to hear like I I refuse to talk ball with anyone that's just a player fan. I refuse. And this is the thing. You can have a favorite player and you can root for them. But to just completely that's all you root for? No, dude. No. Like Alex Smith was my favorite player. When he was on the Niners, he went to the Chiefs, so I would watch the Chiefs and I would root for him. And if the Niners had nothing to do with it, I would root for the Chiefs while Alex Smith was there. But my team was the 49ers. Always going to be the 49ers. That's it. When the 49ers sucked in the 2000s, I really liked the Eagles teams with Donovan McNabb in them. He was like my favorite quarterback at the time. So I would like to watch the Eagles. But I was never like, I'm an Eagles fan now. No, I was a 49ers fan. But they suck. So for some enjoyment, I'm going to also watch the Eagles because they're actually fun to watch. Yeah, man. Like, Allen Iverson was my favorite player as a kid. Allen Iverson and Latrell Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell choked a coach and he was gone. And the Warriors were god-awful for a very long time after that. But I still loved AI, but I wasn't a Sixers fan. I wasn't over there making Sixers TikToks, telling the fan base how to think. Like, no, I like AI. I'm gonna root for AI, but like I'm a Warriors fan. It's just It's just weird, man. And it's like I don't understand. Like, okay, if you became a LeBron fan, let's say you were coming of age in 2011, 2012. So you were a LeBron fan. So you're repping the Heat. And like when he goes to the Cavs, if the Cavs are now playing the Heat and you have all this Heat gear, are you now rooting against that team that you came into the sport loving? That's so weird to me. Because like if I went to a Chiefs 49ers game where Alex Smith was playing for the Chiefs, my favorite player, I was rooting for the 49ers. Simple, dude. Now, I was like, I want Alex Smith to still have a decent game, though, But, like, I'm not rooting against my team because my favorite player is not on it. Like, that just, you can have that disconnect, but you can't just jump teams, dude. And you can't just jump teams to the new dynasty. And, to say, like, oh, when Steph's gone and then, oh, the Spurs with Wemby, like, because they look like an upcoming dynasty, or they have potential to be, right? The next it team. To just jump on that bandwagon, that's so crazy to me, dude. To not have any integrity. That is so crazy to me. I guess I'm a Dame fan. Never considered buying a Dame Bucks jersey. Absolutely. Like I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. Speaking of, so the Ja Morant and Klay Thompson thing happened. I don't know if you guys saw, they got into it. Ja Morant's not even playing. He's barely played in the last few years. In fact, Klay Thompson's had 2 horrific leg injuries and he's played more games than Ja Morant past couple years. Ja Morant got in Klay's face, pointed at him, pointed in his face. Not even playing. Took shots at him. Tried to hype up his teammate, even though Klay was shooting better than that teammate. And basically calling Klay a bum now. And it's like, bro, if Klay's a bum now, he can be a bum. He's still going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's still going to have a statue. What are you going to have? One All-Star appearance? You know? Kenyon Martin, who I always loved, talking trash to Draymond. One All-Star appearance. No championships. Like, the disrespect is crazy to me. Obviously Clay hasn't been playing that well. He's not his old self for sure. But the "what have you done for me lately" way of looking at it. Get out of here, dude. You know? Get out of here, dude. And Ja Morant, I just can't believe how arrogant he is with no accomplishments. You know? I'm fine in the West. Haven't been past the first round since that statement. Just, dude, you gotta earn your stripes, man. You gotta earn your stripes. And you know, Kenyon Martin, good career, no huge accomplishments though. I mean, he did go to the finals, cool. Like Draymond said, he sniffed it, never got over the hump though. One All-Star appearance, like it just, come on, dude. It's just so weird, you know. I'm just losing faith in humanity. Yeah. Player leaves the club, the fan base instantly hates that player. That's funny. That happens here too. It just depends on, you know, like, it depends on the circumstances. Ja got in trouble, so I guess that's why he missed so many games. Ja Morant has never been known for being intelligent. Now he doesn't bother me. And the thing is, you know, Ja was fun to watch, but like, this is the thing. And this will go into the GOAT conversation, okay? See, I like Dylan Brooks though, Josie. I like the disruptors. I like the guys that, you know, Dylan Brooks is just, he's difficult, but he doesn't come across as, I feel like it's different than Ja Morant. Maybe I'm just biased, but this is the thing about Ja Morant, and this is the thing about sports in general, and this will go into the GOATs thing. People overinflate the highlight reel plays. People overinflate who they're fans of. You know. Hold on. Okay, let's do my little show and tell, and then we're gonna get into the GOATs debate, and I'll explain that more. Because I did want to get through this. So I bought a while back. Actually, I've had these for a while. I got a whole box of goodies, which is really cool. And so I got a good price on everything because it was literally a whole box of like bobbleheads and different souvenirs. I got a bunch of Giants bobbleheads. So we got the Matt Duffy. Always liked Matt Duffy. You know, if you guys don't remember, when the fan base fell in love with Matt Duffy was in the postseason. There was it a wild pitch? I think it was. But he got to home from second base on a wild pitch. Like, just the hustle. So, you know, as a fan base, we really like Matt Duffy. We traded him to the Rays. And, you know, that was kind of sad. We all missed him. And his cat, Skeeter. But I guess I could have saved this for next week, since I have a lot to talk about. But I do want to get these. So consider this an intermission. Yeah, and Curry humbled Ja for sure. Just got done eating my 3 free tacos in your hometown, Redwood City. There we go. Looks like this was, oh no. See if I can get the bat in there. The bat? bat is not getting in there good. If I can just get it to there. There we go. All right. Nice, simple bobblehead. The cream of the jersey looks really good. Firm bobble on it. But I like Matt Duffy. I miss him. Is he still playing anywhere? Is he even still on a roster? I don't know. Where'd he go? He ended up going to the Cubs, I want to say. I can't remember. He dealt with a lot of injuries, unfortunately. And his cat Skeeter was also a fan favorite. There's another good Giants one. And then the one I'm excited about. I haven't even opened this yet. The Sacramento River Cats, Patrick Bailey. They can update this now. Some gold gloves at the pro level, right? So I haven't even opened this one yet. I've been excited about this. I wanted this one when they dropped it. Woo! Now that's a good bobblehead right there. That's cool. I love the mask up top. Ready to gun him down. You know what I mean? Number and name on the back look great, actually. It's not focusing on here, but they actually look really good. Yeah, I wanted this one. I was very excited for this one. He's even got like his headband under there. It's cool. I don't think this will probably stay back here somewhere. I'm not going to put this in my display case. I'm going to have this one for the stream. All right, our gold glove catcher, dude. We love him, don't we? We love him, don't we, folks? All right, let me find I'm going to find a good place later. My Astrodome is missing. All right. In football too, Chelsea sell a lot of their old players to Arsenal. We love it because they think they're better. They're just plays for old players to get one last bag. Give me a cow bobblehead. Yeah, you do. You do. All right. So what I was saying, I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way so I didn't forget to do the show and tell. But you have to remember, as fans, I've explained this before, but we're all susceptible to this. So you got to know, when you're a fan of a team and you consume content of that team, from that team, you follow the team on Instagram, all that, you watch the team's broadcasts, right? You got to remember that's all propaganda for your team or whoever you like. Like, if I follow the San Francisco Giants on Instagram, they're not going to post their struggles. If we have a prospect, Bryce Eldridge, for example, if we have Bryce Eldridge out there and he strikes out 3 times in a row, they're not going to post that, right? If he's in the batting cages and can't make contact, they're not going to post that. So you got to remember, everything you ingest is basically propaganda to get you to like and believe. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, I'm not calling it out. I'm just saying, just remember that, right? Like, and we're all susceptible to it. We're all susceptible into buying the hype of like a rookie who doesn't pan out because we watch all these training camp videos where they're making nice catches, but they're not showing all the drops, you know? Now, if you go in, you can read like, the beat reporters who will talk about it, but like a lot of people aren't doing that. They're just watching the highlight videos. And I think that's a huge problem when it comes to sports discourse in general, because people just watch the highlights and they base their opinions on highlights. So someone like Ja Morant gets overrated because his highlights are incredible. He's extremely athletic. He attacks the hoop, I mean, better than almost anyone in history. He has these amazing highlight plays. Um, but then if you really watch, like, he's not that well rounded. Like, he's not that great of a player. He could be. He has potential, but he's just not. He just has the highlight plays. He's electric. And that's been one of my issues too, is like, when the 49ers go through these years where we're trying to find a quarterback. We're trying all kinds of different quarterbacks. We got some young quarterback and the whole fan base is upset and they want that young quarterback to start. That we went through that for years and years. We went through the controversy of it's just Alex Smith. Is he a bust? Is it the team? Is it blah, blah, blah? Whole fan base is divided in all these different ways. They chant, "We want Carr." Then they love Alex Smith. Then they love Kaepernick. And then Kaepernick sucks. And then, it's like when you watch all that, or when you go through all that, a lot of the people that were making the arguments, whoever they supported or wanted the team to do, a lot of them were basing that off highlights that they grew up watching of like Steve Young and Joe Montana. So people would just be comparing whoever the quarterback is to Joe Montana's highlights. And they just think that's all it is. They don't realize before he threw to Dwight Clark for the catch, the most famous play that launched our dynasty, he threw a interception before that. I think he missed, what's his name? I can't remember the receiver's name. He missed him wide open in the end zone the play before that. But everyone only sees the highlight play and just thinks, we need Joe Montana back. And then our quarterback, if you don't like him, you don't believe in him, he throws an incomplete pass and it's like, we got to bench him. But they weren't there back then to say that about Joe Montana when he had a pretty poor game. Like, he didn't play that well that game. No rain, no flower. I like that. I like that a lot. Duffy started as a Giant, then went to Tampa, then Cubs. Oh yeah, he went to the Angels too. I forgot I think he was on the Angels when we went to a game. Dang, I forgot he bounced around that much. Was he on the Rangers when I went to Texas? I wonder. I don't remember. I mean, he didn't play if he was on the team. Penguins ended up going on a tour, some old Viking ship, and it was very interesting. Retired. He's an active free agent. Okay. Ja is very talented, but he gets in his own way for sure. He went to the Yankees in 2020? So you take Ja's highlight dunks away, he's average. Yeah, exactly. He has no jumper, can't hit a three, sort of facilitate. Yeah, and his efficiency is terrible, and it's gone down like every year. Ja Morant's not that great of a player, but he has amazing highlights, and so people just think he's amazing. And this is something that's in every part of sports. Specific fan bases, we all fall. Like I said, I'm not immune to this, but this is why you see Raiders fans, despite only having one winning season the past 20 years or whatever it is, every year they're still like, this is the year. And it's like, yeah, because you follow the Raiders Instagram and they're posting all this propaganda and you buy in. And obviously we all do it. 49ers, it happens too. Like, I get it. But that's why. And that's why certain players are so overrated. And that's why, I mean, the NBA, I think the two clearest examples is in the NBA, because you can have highlight plays. You can be awful the rest of the game, but if you have a couple highlight plays, those will get shared. Everyone's going to love you. And what happens in the NBA is just overrating just scoring in general, as if that's the only thing that matters. Obviously, scoring is incredibly important, but that is why, as I've said a million times, none of these highlight reel scorers, these killer scorers, have ever won a championship. Never. No, not one of them. I mean, by like carrying the team. Because Steph Curry does more than just shoot the lights out. Like, he moves around. He plays off ball better than, I don't know, I can't think of anyone in history who plays like off ball the way he does. I think we talked about this last week. He actually tries on defense. You know, he's led the league in steals before. He's not a one-trick pony. Whereas a lot of people kind of think he is because they don't actually watch. But these people like Luka, these people like James Harden, and like I said, I give them both credit because they'll get assists too. But it doesn't matter if you're scoring at such a high level when you're giving up on defense. You're canceling out all your hard work. Like, it would be better, instead of scoring 45 and doing nothing on defense, it would be better to score 35 and play decent defense. But scoring is overinflated. That's why Carmelo Anthony never won anything. James Harden never won anything. Luka's never going to win anything. This year they got a shot. They do. And I really think Luka, the new and improved Luka, he's definitely more well-rounded than he's been in the past. So I will give him that credit. Reggie Miller never won a thing. T-Mac didn't win a thing. It's overinflated. And the same with baseball, home runs, overinflated. Obviously, that's the highlight. That's what everyone watches. So they just think, like, if you're hitting home runs, you're the best. And that's just one aspect of the game. A great aspect, but you can't just do that. And that is why, I'm sorry, Rye Guy, but that is why Aaron Judge won the MVP and not Cal Raleigh, because Aaron Judge was far and away better than Cal Raleigh in every aspect, but Cal Raleigh hit 7 more home runs or whatever. Other than that, Aaron Judge cleared him in every category. So I kind of keep these things in perspective when I think of, like, how to rate players and whatnot. And I also think it's important. I think you have to rate players based on their era. And for some reason, younger people just love to be like, oh, if you take this player, and they'll say like a regular role player now, and put him in, 1990, he's Michael Jordan. It's like, dude, the game changes. The game's different. It's just like a slimy way to try to downplay someone's achievements. It's like, yes, dude, a player in 1990 did not have the sports science backing that someone, has now. They didn't have the whole AAU infrastructure to grow up in and learn and go all these camps and whatnot. Like, it's just, you can't just discredit someone because they play in a different era. You have to judge people based on their eras. You have to. And that's why, like, Babe Ruth was incredible for his time. Like, yes, if you brought him into now, would he be as good? No chance. But it's a different world. You got to judge him for the era. Now, obviously, one of the biggest knocks is the leagues weren't integrated. And that's something, you just got to bring all this up. It's more nuanced. It's more complex than just put LeBron in 1980. He wouldn't be LeBron, though, if he was of age to play in 1980. He would have had to go through the same path as all those so-called plumbers. I remember when Niner fans brought in Trey Lance before he even played a snap. Yeah, for sure. I was never a Trey Lance believer. I was really upset with the pick. I really like Trey Lance as a person. Like, he seems like a really nice dude, but I thought it was a bad pick, and that's one thing I was proven right on. Ja has a natural athleticism that can't be taught, but he hasn't been able to channel that into being a star player. He has only been able to turn into star plays. Great assessment. Perfect assessment. NHL is kind of like the NBA in a way where they push all these insane goals. Michigan maneuvers on a player, puts a puck on a stick, jams in the net. Look cool. Most players do it. Not great. Okay. Sidney Crosby has these insane goals too. He's a 3-time champion. Sidney Crosby's incredible though. Cal also led his team to 3 outs away from World Series appearance. I think postseason success is important. It doesn't really come into play with the MVP voting though. I mean, look, that was great. I'm not saying Cal Raleigh had a bad season. It's just Aaron Judge was a better individual player than Cal Raleigh in every aspect of the game. But I give Cal Raleigh credit because he's a catcher as well. Like that's a huge physical toll. LeBron would definitely be one of the greatest players in the 80s or 90s. Yeah, absolutely. Every era has them, huh? Barkley, T-Mac. Barkley did more than just score, though. Yeah, AI is a great example, and that's my favorite player. But you can't just be a high-volume scorer and win. You can't. And AI is a lot like Steph Curry, where he would play defense, but he was just undersized, so you could exploit it. But look, AI took an awful team to the NBA Finals. Like how LeBron fans try to say he took an awful team, and he didn't actually. AI did bring an awful team to the NBA Finals and almost had a chance. Dave in Elk Grove. I didn't get a haircut. It's just tied up. AI Christmas way better than Human Writer. AI music rocks. Oh no. I don't know if I've heard any Christmas stuff. It's MVP, not most runs. Yeah, I agree. Obviously biased. And thank you, Dave. You're the best, man. Obviously biased because I experienced heights in baseball I never thought imaginable. No, and I was rooting for the Mariners. Don't get me wrong. I love Cal Raleigh. I did the Modesto Nuts thing and got to learn more about Cal's, upbringing. I would have loved Cal Raleigh to win MVP. But the facts is the facts. Aaron Judge was a better all-around player. Yeah, so you got to judge players by their circumstances, their era, and that's just part of the discussion. It doesn't have to go either way. It's not an end-all be-all. It just is what it is. You judge players by their era and their circumstances, and it's not worth saying, oh, if you put Wemby and blah blah blah, and it's like, all right, dude. And that's another thing that irritates me about the GOAT conversations or like whatever. I don't understand why certain things people will discredit someone for, but then other things they won't. And I use this example with Aaron Judge, and I'll use it with Wemby. They are, dude, Aaron Judge is 6'6", 6'7", whatever. But he has no asterisks on his home runs. Right? And there's no credit that Jose Altuve gets, and he's half the size of Aaron Judge for hitting home runs. So how do you put an asterisk on a player because they got popped for PEDs, but there's no asterisk on someone who has a natural, even bigger advantage by being 6'7"? And it's like with Wemby, like I said, if he dunks over someone, I'm just like, you're supposed to, though. It's not as impressive. It's more impressive when Ja Morant jumps over someone. You know what I mean? So it's just like all these things, I just take them into account. And again, I don't discredit someone because of it. I just take it into account. Modesto Glow Riders, I like it, and a lot of people hate it, and they might change it, but I like the Glow Riders. I like the name. Mariners gave the Blue Jays everything they could handle. Yeah, that was a tough one. The AI music. The 50 Cent Soul remixes I love. The Many Men one, I actually downloaded it, but I haven't heard any of the Christmas stuff. All right, Dave, you're out of here already? Have a good one, man. Happy Thanksgiving. I forgot it's Thanksgiving week already. Cal also plays a much more difficult ballpark. Yeah, that's part of the conversation for sure. Here's my thing too. Like, there's a difference. This is what a lot of fans don't get, and what irritates me. There's a difference between ability and actuality, results. And that's why, like, if you just take someone's abilities in a vacuum, it's hard to argue against LeBron not being the greatest of all time. He can do everything on the court. He can play 1 through 5. He can guard 1 through 5 when he actually tries on defense. Ability wise, it's hard to put anyone above LeBron James because he can do everything. But you have to factor in more than just ability. And a lot of fans, it's just like ability only. It's like, but what about results? What about reality? What about what happened? What about giving up on his team? What about faking injuries? What about flopping? What about crying to the refs? What about losing more finals than he won? What about giving up on defense? What about leaving the lane wide open because he doesn't want to get posterized? Those don't matter just because his ability? I think they matter. I think they matter greatly. And that's the thing. Jerry Rice is far and away the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. He wasn't the most skilled. He's incredibly skilled, obviously. But there's other players that can make better circus catches than him. But it's not just about ability. It's about character. You know? And it's like rings matter like more with like the NBA because an individual can have a bigger impact. But in baseball, rings hardly matter because an individual player is not typically enough to will a team. Now, there's some instances where it's like, man, that player put the team on his back, right? Like Ohtani did the 3 home run game. Madison Bumgarner in the 2014 postseason kept putting the team on his back. But like Reggie Jackson, right? But the Angels had 2 of the best players in their era, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, couldn't even make the playoffs, right? But if you have 2 of the greatest players in your era in the NBA and don't make the playoffs, that's incredible. So my point is, all these things you have to judge them. You have to take them into account. And again, ability-wise, yeah, people like LeBron, Shohei, yeah, incredible. But you have to take everything into account. And that's the thing. Michael Jordan, people always point to like the second three-peat where it's like Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, a lot of great role players. But they don't talk about late 80s, early 90s, even before the three-peat and the first three-peat. We don't talk about those players. We don't talk about B.J. Armstrong, Paxson, Bill Cartwright, right? Like, we don't talk about them, man. Because he was great enough to will those teams. And Jordan had no holes in his game. He did everything. But he also had better character. He never gave up on his team. He never walked off the court when he was losing. He never faked injuries because it looked like they were going to miss the playoffs. So now all of a sudden he has an injury. And he's flawless in the finals. Those things matter. And it's funny because a lot of LeBron fans will use that against Jordan. Like, he kept losing. Everyone acts like he didn't exist before 1990 or whatever. It's like, no, that strengthens his argument. He kept trying. He kept building. He didn't try to just go to another team to chase rings. He stayed with his team, and he built that team with them. That is an argument for Michael Jordan. That it took him so long to get over the hump. And then, dude, Michael Jordan was so great. This is how good Michael Jordan was. He brought back a certain mustache and nobody gave him crap for it. Do you know how good you got to be to rock this mustache and get away with it, dude? You kidding me? What if LeBron James showed up with this mustache? It ain't gonna fly, dude. Michael Jordan showed up in a Hanes commercial with this mustache. Yeah, well, it's Michael Jordan. That's that. You know what I mean? That's how great he was. LeBron James gives up on defense. You know, why do you think LeBron James is so well known for chase down blocks? You know why? Because there's no chance of him looking stupid. He either gets the block or he just, he didn't get there in time. There's no chance of him getting posterized. It is few and far between when he's in the lane and he'll actually clog the lane and he'll actually go up and challenge someone at the hoop. He does it sometimes. I'm not saying he never does. But there's so many times. And this is the thing like LeBron fans don't watch, right? They only watch the highlights. They don't analyze it. They're surface level. They don't know ball. There's so many times where LeBron will be down in the paint. Someone will drive in and he won't challenge. He'll let them drive right down the lane. Because he doesn't want to look stupid. It's a business decision. And his fans won't even acknowledge that. And that's what's annoying. Steve Kerr was on some of those teams, yes. I know you love Drogba. The flawless in the finals comment made me remember the fact that he played in, I think, 11 finals, scored in every single one. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, Drogba is what got me to be like, man, I need to watch more soccer. Like, I really liked him. Bad Boy Pistons unintentionally made Jordan better. I mean, that's what's supposed to happen, though. He was going up against an all-time great team and had to figure out how to win. Wait, the R9 haircut? What's the R? Am I tripping? What? Oh, man. Neymar Jr. had that? That's terrible. Yeah. People would say LeBron's bringing back the toothbrush mustache. He gets the block or slaps the backboard. Yeah. So yeah, man, like you just have to judge all these things, right? And also, here's another good one. Here's another thing I realized too. And I had thought about this before, but I really analyzed it the other day. Is Shaquille O'Neal does not get enough credit. And I try to think of why. Now, if for you youngins who may not remember, like during the Lakers three-peat, that was the most dominant basketball player of all time was Shaquille O'Neal those years. He was unstoppable. There's nothing you could do except hack a Shaq. They had to come up with a BS a BS game plan because he was so dominant. And some people won't even put them in a top list. It won't put him in a top list. I'm like, why is that? And this is really marketing and propaganda. And it hit me that Shaquille O'Neal is the Snoop Dogg of basketball. If you don't understand, let me explain. He was too good. He was too ubiquitous. And he didn't have the marketing lore behind him. Okay? So Snoop Dogg was a great rapper, one of the best debut albums of all time. But he didn't get the lore because he started going into the mainstream and doing all kinds of stuff. This is what Shaq did. He didn't have the lore of Nike behind him, the marketing lore. Whereas Michael Jordan had this incredible machine that built this lore. There was Michael Jordan propaganda videos. All the commercials were just saying, "Oh my God, can you believe this?" You know, you have the Nike commercials where it's like, "We are all witness," right? Of like building this lore behind people like LeBron James, people like Michael Jordan. Um, in other sports too, they do it. They did it with Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr., obviously, ability through the roof, 5-tool player. The results weren't there, unfortunately. A lot of it wasn't his fault. It was injuries and whatnot. But he still has the lore. People will still say Ken Griffey Jr. is the best player of all time. Not even close. Unfortunately. And I love Griffey, dude. I have 2 of his jerseys. I have his shoes. I love Ken Griffey Jr., but the results weren't there, mostly because of injuries. But he had the Nike marketing behind him. Shaq didn't have that. Shaq became this household name. He became fun, right? He became like a spokesman. Snoop Dogg did the same thing. So when people talk about hip hop, they never say Snoop Dogg is one of the greatest of all time. And of course, he put out a lot of lazy projects at some point, but he still did some amazing projects. But he elevated himself above into something else entirely than just a rapper. Shaquille O'Neal did the same thing. And he didn't have Nike making these commercials of like, can you believe what we're witnessing? He didn't have that. And that's why people like Ja Morant get that. And this is why Nike is so much better than the other companies too. Because look at like Adidas with Anta Claus. Okay. You know, like, yeah, Nike did stuff like, there were some silly ones in there, you know, Little Penny and stuff. But there's a difference when you build up the lore behind a player like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant when he went to Nike. They did incredible with him. They pushed the whole Black Mamba thing. Like, they made that iconic. And then you see like Grandmama with Larry Johnson. You see like, you know, those goofy ones. And it's like, it doesn't build the lore behind a player. And so someone like Shaquille O'Neal not having that, someone like, Steph Curry had to do so many amazing things. You know, people still downplayed him for years. And it's because Under Armour just dropped the ball with him. They didn't build the lore. And they did a couple cool things, but like, they should have dropped night shirts right after he did that against, you know, I forgot who he first did it against, the 2022 playoffs. They should have had it ready for the Olympics. Like, they would just do like an Instagram post, but they didn't put the shirt out for like a year. It's like, all right, dude, you know? So my point is just saying all these things matter in our perceptions of players. And someone like Shaquille O'Neal, because he became a spokesman, because he did movies, right? Because he was a genie, he doesn't have the same lore in the like population psyche. Yeah, that haircut is crazy. Designer clothes before a game is funny. Be like Mike. Speaking of Nike, did you hear Nico's getting a job with the Lakers? I didn't hear that. No, that's funny though. Griffey is the GOAT. No, Griffey is just someone who unfortunately doesn't have the same results that he should have had because of injuries. But that's not his fault. So that, to me, that's not a knock against him. It's just the reality of what happened. He's still incredible. But he also had the lore of Nike behind him that had these great commercials that built him up to be the guy. And that's why, dude, for the longest time, through the 90s, Griffey was way more popular than Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was a much better player. Not I don't want to say much better. That seems too biased. But he was. He was a better player. He was winning all the MVPs. He was putting up numbers, winning all the Gold Gloves. He was doing all the stuff. But he didn't have the machine of Nike behind him doing these incredible commercials of him hitting the ball around the world and all these great commercials that Ken Griffey Jr. had the benefit of. And those things, like I said, just those things a lot of people don't realize do affect our perception of players. Snoop Dogg has some of the worst verses I've ever heard in my life on some of the features he has done. No, for sure. He got super lazy. That didn't help. But I'm just saying Snoop grew to this bigger than just a rapper thing. And I think Shaquille O'Neal did the same thing. So I think a lot of people just don't rate Shaquille O'Neal fairly because they don't even consider him. He's like this other thing. 2 or 3 miles from where I live, Nike headquarters, big campus. Yeah. Didn't they do something that said night night? They did, but they only posted it and then they didn't put the shirt out for like a year. You know what I mean? No problem with Nike supporting the Oregon Ducks. I mean, yeah, they should. I think it's cool. I think the deal they have with Nike is awesome. Yeah, I'm just saying that you have to keep all these things in context. And to get to that, let me just say, Shohei Ohtani is not the GOAT, okay? Or even close to it. Everything that Snoop does is for a bag, yeah, for sure. But my point is, Snoop was one of the best rappers, one of the best debut albums, solid sophomore album that was kind of clouded with the whole, Tupac died, Death Row is falling apart. Some really good albums on No Limit. The whole, Chronic 2001 run. The Last Meal, a great album. RNG, I think it was a great album. Like, he put a lot of great stuff out. He was very talented. Yes, he got very lazy and he didn't focus on the music. But he just elevated beyond just a rapper. And so people don't give him the credit for how good he actually was. Isn't the GOAT yet. He's still... See, I like that there's already cracks forming. And I will show you why that's still wrong, but it's all said and done, he will be. I mean, he's only played 8 seasons, so I want to show you guys something. We'll start... Look, I'm going to use Barry Bonds as the counter, mostly because Baseball Reference won't let me access any of the comparisons anymore. For some reason, my IP is blocked. It thinks like I was spamming or DDoSing or something. But also because it's just such a vast difference. Now, before I get into this, if you just think Barry Bonds is a cheater, doesn't count, okay, you win. Not arguing. Don't care. I disagree. We can agree to disagree. Shake hands. You go your way. I go mine. It's not worth proceeding. If that's what you want, you win. You got it. I disagree. I don't care about steroid use, PEDs. He never failed a test. He was basically following the rules at the time because they weren't even testing for what he was supposedly on. All these teams' valuations skyrocketed as Major League Baseball benefited off all these players juicing. They never returned the money. There was no reparations for these supposed clean players. So I don't care. The whole thing is dirty. There's cheaters up and down the Hall of Fame. There's people that took greenies in the 60s and 70s. There's people that did coke and amphetamines. There's players that benefited from playing in a non-integrated league. There's all these things. There's racists. There's wife beaters. There's PED users like David Ortiz. So I don't care about that argument. If you care about that argument, you think that Barry Bonds doesn't deserve the Hall of Fame, you win. I don't care. I disagree. Do your thing. You're right. I don't care. And there's the fact that the pitchers were juicing too. So they're going up against juiced up pitchers. So none of that matters to me. Also, if you're just a Dodgers fan or just an Ohtani fan and you can't see past that and you're just a cheerleader, you win. Have fun, enjoy his career, enjoy watching him, cheer for him, be happy, have fun. I'm here to talk ball. I'm not here to just cheerlead. Although, obviously, I love Barry Bonds, so it might seem like I'm cheerleading. Facts is facts, though. Okay? In failure tests, they found a new product. I mean, okay. But they weren't testing for everything either. Everything you say about him has an asterisk. Bonds is a cheat. Again, okay, shot simple, you're done. Yeah, I'm not listening to anything else you have to say. Yeah, I don't have a VPN set up right now, right, guys? So I can't do it. Um, it's just I noticed it blocked me right before I started this live stream, so I didn't have time to find a workaround. All right. These are just some raw numbers. Career. Okay. So Barry Bonds has a little less than triple the amount of games played. More than triple the WAR. Okay. And none of these analytics and stats are perfect. I totally understand that. So Ohtani would have to play until he's 45 years old to match these numbers. More than triple the RBIs. More than triple? Stolen bases are about the same. Maybe I can't do the math. Much higher batting average, especially when you take off some of Bonds' earlier years where it slumped. On base percentage significantly higher. Slugging percentage high. Otani's is still very high because he hits a lot of home runs. OPS significantly higher. OPS plus 22 points higher. Almost triple the All-Stars, more than double the MVPs, 2 batting titles, 8 Gold Gloves, and 4 times the amount of Silver Sluggers. Okay? And this is not all stats, man. I watched both of these guys play. You know what I mean? Like in person. I've seen them both play in person. Do you really think that Barry Bonds is better than Willie Mays, man? Come on. First of all, I never said that. I said I'm using Barry Bonds because I already had this screenshot and because his stats are so ridiculous. But I can't get Willie Mays' stats right now because I don't have the VPN set up. I never said anything about Willie Mays. I have my display case with Barry Bonds and Willie Mays stuff together. Okay? I love Willie Mays. If you say he's the best all-around player, I'm not going to disagree. Yes, this is the hitting stats. I'm going to get to that. So, obviously Ohtani gets a WAR bump when it comes to pitching. But why is he not why is it not taken into account that he also DHs so he doesn't have to play the field? Barry Bonds played in the National League before the DH. He had to play. Even when he was old, he had to play the field. And he also did it well. He won 8 Gold Gloves. Now, of course, he slowed down when he was older. But he was serviceable in left still. But he won 8 Gold Gloves. He didn't DH, dude. He didn't have the benefit of the DH. But this is just to show that Barry Bonds' stats are basically untouchable for Shohei Ohtani. Okay? Now, you go to... Again, I'm doing batting stats because he has the benefit of DHing. And I will say, look, the fact that he pitches is really cool. But it's kind of a novelty. It gives him a WAR bump. It gives him a bump in how important he is to the team, for sure. And again, I'm not saying this to say Ohtani sucks. He's a great player. He's an incredible player. He's not that great of a pitcher. He's above average pitcher. He's not winning Cy Youngs. He gets to DH. He gets to rest throughout the week. But it's like, okay, if Phillip Rivers returns some punts, that doesn't make him the GOAT. Like, just because you do 2 things that most players don't do, it's cool and it's marketable and it's fun and it's definitely a bonus. It's definitely bonus points in his column for sure. But that doesn't automatically make you the GOAT because you do something that's unusual. I just think that Willie Mays is a more well-rounded player. Yeah, I know. I accept that argument. he stood in the outfield and done some catching practice. No, no. Um, that's not at all what he did. He won 8 Gold Gloves in left field is what he did. So yeah, just the fact that he also pitches is not. It's really cool. It's not some like trump card though. So looking at, again, these are batting stats, so you can bump these up a little bit. But let's just take the batting, and especially because Barry Bonds barely gets a WAR bump for his fielding. His best year, 9.2 WAR. Other than that, under 7. So 9.2 WAR, if you go to Barry Bonds' WAR, that would be tied for Barry Bonds' 7th best season. Now let's give him a little WAR bump because he pitched. All right, he might be tied for his 4th best season. 3rd best season, maybe. His best season ever. Just look at the two stats. It's not even close, dude. And all the bold, like leading the league throughout his career, I mean, it's just not, it's a joke. It's a joke. Okay? And also, look at this. Let's go to advanced batting. Again, I am focusing on batting. He gets bonus points for pitching. It's awesome. It's cool. It's great. Not taking anything away from him. Right, is it this one? Yeah, right here. Strikeout percentage, okay? Above 20 every single season. Striking out more than 20% of the time, more than 22.2% of the time his whole career. Barry Bonds, strikeout percentage over 20 once. His worst season as a rookie, strikeout percentage is still lower than Ohtani's best season strikeout percentage. 12.2% strikeout rate. Okay? And this is my point where people overinflate stats because Ohtani hits a bunch of home runs, bunch of highlight plays. Obviously, it's fun, it's exciting. But he's not an efficient hitter. And you look at, here's like Edgar Martinez, great DH. So it's a good comparison. I mean, he might be the best DH. He doesn't have the flashy numbers, but he's way more efficient. And it kind of just shows the way the game is too. This is where I won't knock Ohtani. You have to judge it by the era. Now it's like the 3 true outcome. I get it. But strikeout percentage, never once over 20%. Never once over 20%. Ohtani is not efficient. He strikes out too much. He struck out almost a record amount of times in the postseason. He won 8 Gold Gloves catching pop-ups. I don't know if you're just like trying to troll or rage bait. It's crazy. How do you do this comparison between 2 players? So if you go to right here, you can, each page has a compare, and but look, here's if I put Barry Bonds, this is what it says. Oh wait, it might let me do it now. Earlier it wasn't letting me verify. It was just giving me an error. Oh, I can do it now. Nice. Let's do you want to say Willie Mays, right? Remember, Willie Mays lost time to military service as well. And it's still a joke. Absolute joke. Dude, Ohtani's career has to last triple what it is now. He has to do his career 2 more times to match Willie Mays. You understand that? He has to do his career 2 more times to match Willie Mays. And this is as a DH. Willie Mays did not have the benefit of the DH. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. 12 gold gloves. 12 of them. Okay? All Stars is inflated because back then they would do 2 All Star games a year, so he has more All Star games. Um, but yeah, so if Ohtani does his career 2 more times, then we can talk. Okay? But he's just not. He's just not. He's not even close. Just not even close. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, dude. He almost doubles his at bats per strikeout. It's a joke, dude. Ohtani does not have the body of work yet, but he could if he puts up the same or better numbers for the next 7 or 8 seasons. But again, as I just showed you, he would have to match Willie Mays' numbers or even get close to them. He would have to redo his same career 2 more times. Bonds wouldn't have touched Ohtani. You're just trolling at this point. Sasser really stood in the outfield and done some catching practice. Has to worry about pitching. Again, I went through a whole spiel that you have to judge people on where they're at. So yes, Ohtani gets credit for pitching also, but that does not automatically make him the GOAT. And every Ohtani fan brings up that one game, dude. That was one of the greatest World Series single game performances of all time. If you want to argue it's the best single game performance of all time, I accept that argument. But one game does not discredit the fact that he's nowhere near these guys. You can't strike out that many times. Barry Bonds is, I mean, he's statistically better than Willie Mays, but Willie Mays also, I don't think it's fair to compare the eras because it was a different era. You know, they hit more home runs. The pitchers were juiced, the batters were juiced. It's just a different era, different ballparks. You know, Willie Mays had to play in Candlestick and the Polo Grounds, 2 very difficult places to hit. There's a lot of, Willie Mays sustained success for a very, very long time. Where's that one Bonds game in the playoffs? Dude, he killed it. 2002 playoffs, Bonds had an incredible postseason run. And again, this is not Ohtani. Look, I will say this: Ohtani in his 8-year career, you can say he's had one of the best careers. I mean, success, individual success, team success. It's been an incredible run. But I'm saying that doesn't make him individually the GOAT. That is a different argument. If Ohtani was juiced, he'd have them numbers too. He is juiced, first of all. They're all juiced. But again, so you can just say nah, but the stats I just showed, you can't just say nah and just pick out random statements. Well, he got 3 home runs and 10 Ks. Okay, great game. That doesn't change the fact that his stats are nowhere close to Barry or Willie. And he has a lot of his stats are better as a DH than Edgar Martinez. Of course, Edgar Martinez at this point still had a much longer career. So Ohtani has a way to go. But Edgar Martinez way more efficient as a DH. Again, dude, you can't just look past how much he strikes out. You can't just look past the fact that he gets to DH. He gets to rest 4 out of 5 games. Those are all things that need to be part of the discussion. Again, he gets bonus points for pitching, but Phillip Rivers is not the GOAT if he returned a couple punts. That's okay. And then there's the fact that Shohei Ohtani is protected in the lineup. He has two other Hall of Famers and various all-star caliber players, all up and down the lineup. He's protected. That means they have to pitch to him more often. Barry Bonds only had that benefit a handful of years throughout his career. He had Matt Williams for a couple years. He had Jeff Kent. Rich Aurelia had a really good year. I want to say he was batting in front of Bonds. He might have been batting like 2. And Bonds was 3rd, something like that. But Bonds did not have the benefit of being protected in the lineup. And that's a huge thing in baseball. That's a huge thing. That's why it was a big deal in the super long game. He got walked all those times. They're not used to it. Barry Bonds would have been walked even more than that. Because usually they're not able to walk him. But in that long game, the lineups are all topsy-turvy and mixed up. They were able to walk him more. He's protecting the lineup. He has that benefit of being on a super team. And it's also annoying that in the NBA, we gave KD all this flack for joining a super team. But then Ohtani, nobody brings that up. Why is that not a criticism? I think it is. I mean, obviously, that's why I don't like Ohtani anymore. But look, this is not... The reason sometimes I hate making these arguments is because, like, it's easy to discredit, just be like, oh, you're a Giants fan, you're biased. But no, I'm just being realistic about it. I would feel this way no matter what. There's Giants players I feel like were, overinflated. Like, a lot of Giants fans will just think Bumgarner's the greatest player of all time or greatest pitcher we ever had. And it's like, he had a lot of really good years, one of the best postseason pitchers of all time. It's hard to put any pitchers above Bumgarner in the postseason. But, like, he was mediocre for a lot of his years throughout the regular season. I can be realistic about it. So yeah, it sucks having these arguments because it's like, of course he's on the Dodgers, so of course I have to argue this. But, I ain't the Yankees too, but I'm not just like trying to show that Aaron Judge didn't deserve MVP. Stats don't show everything. They're just numbers on spreadsheet, really. I agree. I'm not the biggest stats guy. I'm just showing these stats are so conclusive and so out of this world that you have to take them into account. So he's protected in the lineup. He strikes out too much. He gets to DH. Okay. Another thing that Ohtani fans bring up is stolen bases. Look, he had the great year. 40, 40, 50, 50. Was that it? I don't remember the numbers. But nobody seems to bring up the fact that they changed the stolen base rules. They changed the rules to get more stolen bases, to promote stolen base numbers. Because it's an exciting part of the game. We all miss Ricky Henderson. That's why if you look, where is it at? Stolen bases, right after they changed the rules, is when suddenly he hits 59. He got nowhere close to that before that. Because this is when the league is still learning how to navigate these new rules. Okay? You have, first of all, bigger bases, sliding mitts. Already huge advantage for the runner. Second, you can only throw over a limited amount of times. So if you exhaust those, the runner doesn't have to be scared of being picked off. The biggest thing, the pitch clock. Because now if you see the pitch clock going down to 2, 1, you know that the pitcher has to throw the ball. You can get an incredible jump. Barry Bonds has way more stolen bases. Almost 3 times the amount of stolen bases without those rules. He benefits from the stolen base rules. And again, you judge people by their era. So right now, he's doing his thing. Obviously, he had way less this year. But he's doing his thing. His stolen bases are helping his team. He gets credit for that. But if you're going to compare, the errors, you have to bring that up. The rules benefit him. Just like if you bring up like a wide receiver, you know, in the 1980s, a wide receiver could get destroyed going across the middle. And now they can't. They can't get hit. Quarterbacks could get destroyed. Now they can barely get hit. Those are just things you got to take into account. Never looked up an Ohtani stat in my life, but I watch Bonds and watch Ohtani from visual of things he's doing I've never seen before. Then I don't think you watched enough because it's not even close, dude. Barry Bonds was nobody's been as dominant as Barry Bonds in my lifetime. I mean, it's not even close. And this is why this is not like a biased statement. I'm really not being biased. I'm being honest. Just the way Michael Jordan dominated, Barry Bonds would dominate. They walk Bonds with the bases loaded, absolutely. KD joined the 73-9 Warriors, though, and had a chance to get a chip, but couldn't do it. Ohtani joined a good team. Dude, I mean, it's baseball, so it's different. But, like, still, though, he went to the most dominant team in the National League for the last, what year did he go? The last, like, 12 years, basically. Well, no, I mean, the Giants had their success, but, like, the Dodgers were winning their division almost every season. They have the most money to spend. They have one of the best farm systems. Dude, the Dodgers, this is what also annoys me as a Dodgers hater, right? Their farm system is possibly the greatest in the league. The entire major leagues, they probably have the best farm system. And they still siphon off all the free agents and all-stars. If you're not a stat guy, then why are we talking stats? Because it matters. Of course stats matter. I'm just saying I'm not just like only by the stats guy. But they help paint the picture. Look at Ohtani's stolen base numbers before and after they changed all the rules. That's what I'm saying. It's you know. And again, they came back down to earth this year because teams learned the rules better. They learned how to work around the rules more. If only Ricky Henderson played during this era. Dude, Ricky Henderson would have been unstoppable in this era. Just that's a person who succeeded. And just if you just take just stolen bases or just being on the base paths, there's nobody even close. It's incredible. But yeah, no, I'm saying I'm not a stats or the end all be all. Absolutely not. And that's why I'm saying Ohtani gets credit for pitching and batting. That's new to us. It's incredible. It's great. I'm not saying he's not great. I'm not saying he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. I'm not saying he's one of the most exciting players to watch now. I totally get it. My issue is the GOAT debate because he's not even close. And maybe he will be. Maybe he will be at the end of the day. Again, I couldn't stand Tom Brady. But at the end of his career, I had to admit, like, if someone says he's the GOAT, I can't argue it. I can't argue it. So Ohtani, he might get there. Dude, you know how much I hate Clayton Kershaw? As a fan, not as a guy, right? But like as a player, I hate Clayton Kershaw. I think he's the best. I mean, the playoff choking I loved, but at least regular season. He's like the best regular season pitcher of the last 15 years. First ballot Hall of Famer, incredible. Annoyed me to no end having to watch my team play him. Yes, I'm a fan. I'm biased for my team, my players. Yes, but I can be honest and realistic about it. Ohtani, great player, top of the league, totally deserving of praise. It's incredible to watch. He's just not in the GOAT debate yet. That is my point. And my last thing. the last thing I want to show, because I've been saying this as a joke, but it's true. Juice ball theory. Now, there's a chance maybe this isn't true. I believe it to be true, but I'm open to being wrong. Um, in 2015, after the All-Star break, uh, a lot of people investigated and found that there seemed to be a significant difference. Look, 5 other days, Rob Arthur found evidence of significant difference in the composition of the cores of baseballs produced after 2015 and before. MLB received the results of his own scientific study, looking into the increase of home run rate since 2015, acknowledged that the increase was due, at least in part, to a change in the aerodynamic properties of the baseball. Okay, and there's a bunch of quotes in here from, Johnny Cueto, Emilio Pagan, Justin Verlander. This is balls used in MLB games are a effing joke. Now he believes 100% that the league has implemented juice balls to increase offense. After years of complaints from multiple pitchers around the game before the 2022 season ended, Manfred said every baseball that's in use was produced under the new manufacturing process, blah, blah, blah. But this is, if you want to look this up, look up the whole Goldilocks ball thing right here. Increased exit velocities and launch relative to its peers, which was typically used in the All-Star game or postseason games. And this is what it was controversial because the Yankees were found to be using these balls throughout the regular season when Aaron Judge broke the American League home run record. Okay, so there's real evidence behind this. So yes, I joke about, if you're in the Discord, I always say balls juice, folks, but I believe that it is. And so that's why I believe that a lot of these stats are inflated. But again, I'm not going to necessarily discredit. I'm just judging it based on what it is, because the steroid era also had inflated stats because of PED use from the batters and the pitchers. Pitchers were throwing harder, but this is before spin rate and all that, so they're throwing harder and hittable. So you got to just judge that based on what it is, if that makes sense. So home run numbers, to me, judging it based on the era, it doesn't mean as much to me. Like I said, I think last week when I was a kid, 1991, Cecil Fielder hit 51 home runs, and it was a huge deal that he eclipsed 50. All the kids talked about it. That we were excited to get his baseball card because like, oh my God, he hit over 50 home runs. It was a huge deal. Now we have 50 home run hitters all the time. We had them all the time through the steroid era. Then there's a lull, and now in the juice ball era, suddenly we have a bunch of 50 home run hitters again. So I'm just saying you take that into account. That's all I'm saying. 10, 15 years from now, we're going to have this conversation. I'm going to say, I told you so. Dude, that's fine. If that happens, fine. But right now, he's not the GOAT. And I've brought forth a bunch of evidence. The only evidence against anything I said is basically like, nah, I like him though. And that's it. It's wiki. You got to take it with a grain of salt because I could have posted it on there. That's not how it works. These are all sourced, right? Here's all the sources, right? You can go to the sources, the Boston Globe, right? The Sporting News, ESPN, 538, The Ringer, Orange County Register, NBC Sports Bay Area. Justin Verlander isn't a fan of MLB's juice balls from SB Nation. Another one, Verlander, MLB juicing balls for more offense from ESPN, Jeff Passan. So no, Wikipedia is pretty reliable. Usually if there's changes, look, it'll even say this article is missing information about the findings of Meredith Wills. I didn't see that part. So please expand the article to include, it hides the information if it's not properly sourced. Wikipedia is actually pretty incredible and it's really well sourced. And yes, you can make changes, but usually it goes through a bunch of auditors. So Wikipedia is usually pretty reliable. It is not the Wild West. But look, if Ohtani does what he does for another 8-9 years, then I could say, let's talk about it. I don't think he will. I don't even think he'll come close to it. And I just think people are prisoners of the moment. I think there's always a recency bias. I think that's why people grow up with LeBron. He's the GOAT no matter what. Despite, any evidence to the contrary, any criticisms of him, like I said, faking injuries, flopping, all these things that it takes points away from him in my eyes. They just don't even see that because they just love him and that's it. And also just a lot of people, like I said, they learn from highlights. They get information from memes. They get information from posts that people make. And, I just think people don't really have a clear picture of some things and they just go based on their emotions. And I watched a lot of Barry Bonds growing up. I watched a lot of Ken Griffey Jr. growing up. I've gone back and watched a lot of Willie Mays. I've gone back and watched a lot of A's stuff last year, like during the last stuff. I would on like ESPN, was it ESPN Plus? One of them had a bunch of old classic games on. I'll put on those old games. Sometimes I put on like ESPN, was it ESPN Classic? Watch old basketball games. And sometimes you can see that certain things are wrong. Like let's say someone was a bum and then you're like, oh, he actually looks kind of good. Look, we all go based on, this is my thing. If you're on the side of Ohtani, just say he's your favorite player and you love him. Okay, cool. I get it. I get it. That's a different argument, though, than the GOAT. That's a different argument than saying he's the best. If he's your favorite, sure. I think LeBron fans should say he's my favorite player, not he's the GOAT. Look, longevity-wise, LeBron's the GOAT. Best career ever had in the NBA. Longevity-wise. Ability-wise, it's hard to argue against him. But the actual results, what actually happened, he's just not the GOAT. It's like you can't say Bo Jackson's the GOAT because he had the potential. And Ohtani, he just hasn't done enough. He just hasn't been there. He has to clean up his strikeouts. He has to be more efficient. He has to be more well-rounded. And even then, it's like, is he going to pitch forever? Is he going to pitch his whole career? Is he going to DH forever? We got to see those things play out. I can't say a guy who just hits a bunch of home runs and then every 5 games pitches is the GOAT. I'm not going to say any pitcher's the GOAT, really. It's just a different category, I guess. I don't know. I think I made my case. I think I win. Talk to my lawyers. Okay? Talk to my lawyers, dude. That's it. Now, if someone can discredit any of the things I said, other than just, nah, I like Ohtani better. Part of me thinks that sports right now is the best it's ever been. Only the tech? Oh, you mean like the technology that social media has in finding talented people? I think I think you're right in a lot of ways, for sure. I think, William Park, you had asked about the sports betting. I've said this for probably a few weeks in a row now, but I really do think the normalization of sports gambling in pro sports, at least in the United States, shot simple, is it like this everywhere? I think you mentioned that it is. I think you had said that it is, but the normalization of sports gambling, at least in the United States, is one of the worst things to ever happen to sports. And I think in the future, we'll look back on it like this ruined a lot. Just the amount of people getting caught up in gambling scandals, the amount of vitriol that players have to face from fans because their parlay didn't hit, kids growing up with gambling being normalized, and not even normalized, but promoted and like encouraged, it's like you can't just enjoy the sport. Now you better have a parlay. Like you better bet the over on this. And it's like, why? Just enjoy the game. And kids are growing up in this world where it's now encouraged to to be part of sports. You also need to be gambling on it. I think that's terrible. I and again, I'm not necessarily against prohibition. I think prohibition most of the time for anything doesn't work, um, typically. But so it's like I wasn't necessarily against gambling being legalized, but I definitely don't think it should be normalized. I don't think it should be part of the leagues. And I think there should be rules and regulations, just like with tobacco, where they were forced to stop advertising with sports and stop advertising with cartoon characters, things like that, billboards. I think gambling should be the same way. I think it should be a niche industry, and it shouldn't be plastered all over the stadiums. It shouldn't be part of the sports talk. The amount of times I hear the announcers or the analysts in the post game talking about parlays hitting, I think it's terrible. I think it's one of the worst things that happen to sports. Now, what Shaw Simple said, though, I do agree. There's a lot of incredible things happening with sports, and like you said, technology around sports is also really cool. Even when it comes down to like camera angles, and I think of things like when they added like the pylon cameras in American football. Like, I love it. Um, I love just StatCast stuff. I love, um, seeing the launch angles of balls and projected home run distances of like in other parks. All that kind of stuff is super fun. When Brady Anderson hit 50 home runs, it really raised eyebrows. That was during the steroid era. Yeah, that was a man. He had a monster year. I mean, that was later than the steroid era, though, wasn't it? Part of me think I read that. I mean, you could say baseball changes in eras. Ohtani in the Ruth era would outperform Ruth in every aspect. Absolutely, competition's higher than ever. Consider type of competition. There are many black people in the time might have overperformed. Say GOAT. They're at least parity. So yeah, I mentioned this earlier. I think you might have missed it. You have to judge people based on their era. So yes, if you take Ohtani now with all the benefits of sports science and learning the game and all the things we know about the game and put him in Ruth's era, he would be the greatest player of all time, 100%. But it's different if you take Ohtani and have him born the same year as Babe Ruth and grow up in the same society without the same sports science, without travel ball, without all these things, all these coaches that know all these tricks and best ways to do things. Then it'd be a more fair comparison. And I think obviously Ohtani would probably still be good. I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm just saying you can't compare eras like that. You can bring it up as part of the dialogue, but it doesn't immediately discredit someone because they're from an earlier era. You have to judge them based on that era. I mean, the thing is, stars from back in the day wouldn't really be in today's game. Now, I'm not saying they couldn't, but I don't think they're big as name as they are. Well, yeah, but if they grew up in this era and they had all those benefits, are you saying that you didn't grow up in the environment where people encourage you to bet on football? People, not really. None of my degenerate friends could watch football without betting on it. Sometimes I'll get wrapped into it. It's one of the reasons why football has become the sport. No, you're right. It was obviously still a huge thing, but it was still hush hush. It wasn't being promoted to kids. So yes, you grew up in an environment where it was. Mine, it wasn't. I watched football with my dad. I don't remember him ever talking about gambling, except for talking about. I think my grandfather gambled, and I think he lost a lot of money on a Super Bowl. Apparently, there's like a story about it. I don't know the details. But to me, it was still this niche, underground, shadowy thing. So even if you knew it existed, even if you were interested in it, it was still something you'd have to seek out, find, and do under the covers, right? Whereas now, even if you normally wouldn't be interested, they're marketing it to you. To me, that's much different. Hit his 50 home run. It was 98? It was 98? Oh my God. Time flies. I thought it was in the 2000s after that. Maybe I'm thinking of Chris Davis or something. Maybe I'm confusing him with Chris Davis. I don't know. That's crazy. That just blew my mind. Players and even star players back then had a ciggy at halftime. Yeah. I love the classic picture of Len Dawson. Was it Len Dawson smoking a cigarette in the locker room? Dude, they back then, some of them thought cigarettes helped them, you know? That's how far sports science has come. So it'll be the same thing in the future. Like in the future, it'll be like, oh, Wemby can't hold a candle to this guy because in the future they'll be like, oh, dude, if you have one Mountain Dew, dude. But that's another thing that is funny to me now that I'm older, because now I've gotten to see multiple eras of sports. One thing that I always find funny is like, as time goes on, certain players will just fade away from conscious memory or from just talked about, right? Because you can't talk about every player, all the role players and bench players. You can't talk about them forever, right? Whereas right now, 2025, NBA season underway, people will talk about, oh, so-and-so's on the bench, like he should get more minutes. But in 20 years, they're not going to talk about that guy, right? So now, what, like, let's say a teenager now that's into the NBA, they know all these players. They're familiar with these players. But the same comparable players from 1990, they've never heard of. So they think they're all bums. And it's like, yeah, but that other guy that's on the bench that you think is good and should get more minutes, nobody's going to remember him either. And then kids then will be like, I've never heard of that guy. He must be a bum. You know what I mean? You could say Ohtani would have been blackballed. Well, yeah, he wouldn't have even got a chance to play. It was 96? What? I think I'm confusing him with Chris Davis, dude. Look at advanced analytics. For every home run cancels out a certain amount of strikeouts. How much are they producing? How much they're hurting? Yeah, I mean, some of the advanced stats. I'm so bad with the advanced stats, though. I'm not going to lie. EPL, there's 20 teams. 11 of them are sponsored by a bookie. Oh, my God. Well, for a large grocery store, every week they would try and convince us to buy blocks. Yeah, I remember, actually, my mom would buy blocks. But it was always fun. It was like $10, you know. It was like no big deal. Kids' jerseys don't have the sponsor printed. That's good. Super Bowl week was always really big. Yeah, no, I do remember the blocks. Siggy a day keeps the doctor away. I was always the older guys at the grocery store that were most addicted to gambling. Yeah. Super Bowl week was always crazy. They would make announcements on the store floor. Manager getting involved too. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild, man. Says Baltimore for you. Yeah, I think I wish sports gambling was still just its niche industry. I don't think it should be marketed along with the leagues. And I don't think it should be marketed to kids. Honestly, I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible, dude. My overall point, Shaquille O'Neal deserves more credit. Okay, he just didn't have Nike behind him to build the lore. Okay. I want Curry to go to Nike because I am a Nike stan, so I'm a little biased there. There's something else I wanted to talk about. I don't remember. Chris Davis hit over 50 home runs in 2013. All right, so yeah, I'm confusing Brady Anderson with Chris Davis. That's why. Figured it out. Coke and sports betting are two things that are way too normal. Is that big? Wait, Coca-Cola or like nasal candy? Because, yeah, I agree with that. Either way. And I'm a guy who has a Foggy trading card. It's not really a trading card, but Foggy's the SF City FC mascot. And I'm a guy who has that right here, so you know that what I'm saying is the truth, right? I have Disneyland mock tickets for the 70th anniversary here. That's how serious. That's how serious this gets, dude. All right. I thought this was gonna be like funner as far as like goofing, but I didn't goof as much. I took it very serious, I guess. Oh, have you guys watched Frankenstein, dude? Frankenstein was fun. Mexican marching powder coke. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's easy to solve the gambling thing. You should not be allowed to make gambling bets on the phone. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Because, yeah, at least if you have to put effort into it, then yeah, for sure. Um, what else, man? What else is going on in the world, huh? Nothing much, dude. Politics is smooth. um, I'm gonna try to here's my plan for. I don't know if I told you guys this, but when I go to Buffalo next month, not next month, January. I got 2 tickets. I think I told you guys this. Yeah, I did tell you guys this. I'm gonna do like a little contest, try to find a Bills fan to go with me. Have you seen the new Ken Burns doc? No. So I think I added it to my list. I'm gonna try to watch the whole thing before I go to Buffalo. I think Fort Niagara is closed, but there's some other cool stuff in that area, so I just want to like watch and see how much they touch on with that. I don't know if he does at all, but like just being in that part of the country or close to it, I do want to watch it before. But I thought the doc was gonna come out like episodes every week, but then I saw the whole thing was on streaming. I think, right? So I'm gonna start it now because I was gonna wait, but I just last night I saw it, so I was gonna start it now. So I'll start it soon. I want to rewatch. I want to rewatch all the Ken Burns ones because it's been a long time since I watched any of them. I think I watched the baseball one again like 4 or 5 years ago. I think the baseball one's probably my favorite for obvious reasons, but Civil War was great too. But yeah, I'm gonna try to watch it soon. And yeah, Frankenstein was fun though, but I gotta say, I put Nosferatu over Frankenstein. Probably no, but I was mostly trolling with the Bonds Got debate, playing devil's advocate. Thing is, nah, you gave yourself away a couple times. I know you were just again though. Ohtani's great. He is. Like, of course, I lost a lot of respect for him to go to the Dodgers. But as far as like talent, yeah, he's incredible. But you know, yeah, I just don't like recency bias and things is so annoying. Just people think whoever's the new guy is the best of all time. It's just no, you know. I'm only the first episode, but it's great so far. It's free on PBS app. I have PBS through Amazon, so I saw it on Amazon and something else. I saw Frankenstein. It was actually heartbreaking. The visuals were awesome though. Running Man. I didn't see Running Man yet. Yeah, this is my thing. So I put Nosferatu over Frankenstein, so I realized like I realized what I like in movies lately, which is funny. Like I like aura farming. And Nosferatu was just better at aura farming than Frankenstein's creature. And it's the reason some of the movies I really love, like recently, or even traditionally for me, I never realized I like aura farming characters. So like A movie I love that barely anyone ever talks about is The King with Timothy Chalamet, because he's just aura farming the whole movie, dude. I love it. And then like Dune, he's just aura farming. I love it, dude. I love the aura farming, and Nosferatu was killing it. And Frankenstein was just a little bit too like um timid, I guess. He just wasn't aura farm. I wish they would have gave him more screen time of like kicking ass. And they gave him some, but like he wasn't farming aura enough. Frankenstein is a movie. It's so Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro just put out his version of Frankenstein. It's on Netflix, at least in the United States. But yeah, no, Frankenstein is great. I also like when movies kind of play it straight, and Frankenstein is a little more whimsical than like Nosferatu. Just the visuals and stuff, a little more whimsical. Um, and Nosferatu was a little more grounded, which I prefer. But both those movies, man, super super fun to watch. Um, man, Nosferatu, I'm like, dude, this guy knows how to farm some aura, man. Second Wicked, I didn't watch either Wicked, so I can't even say. Just the visuals of Wicked just look awful to me. Just looks like a overpowered Netflix movie. Just I hate the whole like green screen fuzzy look. I can't do it, man. But I gotta say, like, I was kind of checked out of movies for a while, and now like your boy's back in, dude. Freaking Sinners. Sinners, immediate classic for me. Like one of my favorite movies off top. Watched it a second time. Loved it just as much. I saw one battle after another in theaters. Loved it. Loved it, dude. Just had a ball. Nosferatu had a ball. I still haven't watched Dune 2 because I keep putting it off because I'm too excited. I'm weird like that. When I really care about something, I'll put it off till things are perfect. Like I need a perfect night with a whole new a new container of Chunky Monkey by Ben and Jerry's, right? I need everything to be perfect. I don't want to be tired, and I keep putting it off because it's a long movie too, so I need to make sure I have a free night. But the first Dune, loved it, dude. The King, loved it. Yeah. It's been some good stuff. It's been some good stuff, dude. I wish there was more original movies though. You know, I don't all the remakes and all that, just I don't really care as much. Like I want more Sinners. I want more One Battle After Another's. And Nosferatu was a remake, but you know, the original is so old and there's been so many different Dracula versions. It didn't feel like a cop out remake. You know what I mean? And if Frankenstein too, it just felt like a long time since we had a good Frankenstein movie. So they don't bother me as much. Most human and vulnerable character in the movie. Yeah, but he was, but I wanted him not to give it away. But once he like comes into his own, you know, I wanted him to just like know who he was, and just it's sort of like he was with the boat, with the people on the boat before the flashback scenes. I wanted him to be like that. I wanted to see him like that more, but pre-boat, if that makes sense. It's like post-farm, pre-boat. I wanted to see more aura farming. Like put him in the village to aura farm. Not a boxing fan. What do you think of Jake Paul finally gets silenced? I mean, I hope so, you know. I hope so. I really like Tank Davis, so I wanted to see him fight, but I thought it was a weird match, so I'm kind of glad that didn't go through. I feel, has Anthony Joshua fought recently at all? I thought he was like just retired, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I know Dune 2 I know it's great. That's why I keep putting it off. I'm weird like that. Black Phone 2, I still haven't seen the first one. I do want to see both. The Odyssey. I'm excited for the Odyssey. Regarding me? I don't know if I heard that. Yeah, no, I love the Odyssey. When I was a kid, I don't think I read like the full giant version, but I read a version. Always enjoyed it. I love, period epics and stuff. So yeah, no, the Odyssey is gonna be dope. I'm excited. There was another movie coming out that I was excited about too. I saw a trailer. I feel like who was in it? Leonardo DiCaprio or something? Someone was in it. Someone big was in a movie coming out. I wanted to see. Let me see. Was it him? We're just talking movies, folks. Ooh, there's a Sitting Bull TV series coming out. Or it might be out already. Oh, no, I don't see one. Oh, this is producer. I'm like, what are these movies? So annoying. It shows him as a producer first. Oh, he's still gonna play Jim Jones. There's a Teddy Roosevelt movie coming out. Oh yeah, did we talk about the James Garfield series? Incredible. No, it wasn't Leo. I don't know. There's someone in a movie that was coming out that looked really good that I was excited about. No, I don't remember what it was. Sue me. Joshua can throw them. Yeah, no, Anthony Joshua, I mean, Jake Paul, I don't think's fought anyone that strong. You would like the next carnation of Frankenstein starring Christian Bale? I think I did see that trailer too. That'll be dope. Sinners still the best film this year for me. I think so too. Sinners, I love it so much. It's hard to even put it into words. Only other movie I'm excited for, Godzilla. I know you like your Godzilla and Kongs, dude. I started Superman. Didn't finish it though. I gotta finish it. If Joshua doesn't win, I think we should no longer call boxing a sport. I'm down for that. The only boxer now that's still active, I think, I want to say that I like. I mean, I like Canelo and Tank, and that's it. Other than that, it's like I don't really enjoy watching anyone else, A Death by Lightning. Sorry, that's the James Garfield series. If you haven't watched that yet on Netflix, watch it. Incredible, great stuff. Is there anything else I wanted to say? I'll be showing off my display case more on Discord. Join the Discord. I'm looking at stuff to like remind me. Dude, who else has a ball that Brandon Belt hit for a single to right field at Yankee Stadium? What other live streamer? I'm not really a live streamer. I just go live once a week. But like, what other person has a ball that Brandon Belt hit for a single to right field at Yankee Stadium? I'm better than Kai Cenat, dude. And that's that. I'm better than Kai Cenat, dude. He does not have a ball that Brandon Belt hit into right field at Yankee Stadium. And I do. Sitting right behind me the whole time. It was there the whole time, dude. Talk to my lawyers. And I'm touching it. It's authenticated. Okay? Single to right field on 4/27/19. We didn't even know what COVID was. We were just kids, dude. We were just kids. And Brandon Belt was hitting that ball in the right field at Yankee Stadium. And now, fast forward, it's sitting right here, right behind me, as I do the greatest Sunday night live stream in the history of YouTube. We were just kids. We were just kids. Okay? All right. I will be at 49er game tomorrow. Monday Night Football. Okay? And I've decided with these sports games, I think I repeat myself. I apologize, dude. This sucks. With sports games, if it's like a 49er game or a place I've already filmed at and I've done these big videos at, I'm just going to do vlog style videos, like quicker, easier, so I can put them out quick. So I will do a video tomorrow. It's going to be just a simple vlog style video. Don't expect the bells and whistles, okay? And then I got a Sharks game coming up, okay? Sharks won tonight against the Bruins. Macklin Celebrini, he's the truth, dude. Now, if Ohtani's the GOAT, then Macklin Celebrini's the GOAT. Okay? And then, what else do I got going on? Be in Buffalo, right? He will. I might do a little something on Alcatraz. I'm going to Alcatraz. Next month, I'm going to Alcatraz with family. I'm not going to do like a full video. I've already done 2 at Alcatraz. But I don't know. I'm trying to think. What could I do? My brother will be in town, so I kind of want to see if he wants to see if we can knock out a sode together. Not Alcatraz, but something. Figure something out. There's a million stories that we could tell in the Bay Area. I'm trying to go to Dickens Fair again. If you guys saw, we did a video there a few years ago. We did a live stream there. I love the Dickens Fair at the Cow Palace. And, I miss my friend Chuck Dickens, I miss my good friend Chuck Dickens. So I want to go to that. I don't know if I'll film it, but maybe I'll end up doing a live stream there. I don't know. We'll see, dude. And like I said, I'm considering, there's a small part of me that's thinking about doing these live streams Tuesday night instead of Sunday night, just so that if I do go do things on Sundays or I go out of town, I don't have to do as many remote live streams, because sometimes that gets annoying. Like when I had to do the live stream at Disneyland, it gives me this anxiety of like, oh, make sure I do the live stream. And then I just feel like it's not a good live stream, because then I'm just like, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to do. I'm not set up. I'm not ready to go. Oh, F1 was incredible. Max Verstappen won, right? In Vegas. I don't want to support F1 in Vegas because I think it's a clown show how they don't let people just watch the race. They try to cover it, on all the walkways. But I don't know. Maybe the walkways can't support all the people, and maybe there's a safety issue. If that's the case, okay. But like the fact that they're so militant about not letting people watch the race unless you buy a ticket to sit in a certain place, it just pisses me off, dude. But I saw Max Verstappen won. Weapons was good, yeah. Wouldn't know either if they punched me in the face. You don't know Canelo? Been a strong year for horror films. I agree. I typically don't like horror, but I've been watching a lot this year and I've enjoyed it. F1 the movie. You're talking about the movie, huh? With Brad Pitt. I haven't watched that yet. Here I am thinking you're talking about the Las Vegas Classic or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. Caught stealing. You say you love gritty real movies. Caught stealing? All right, I'm gonna look that up. Only streamer that I know of that has Belt's baseball hit at Yankee Stadium. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Who else? Who else, dude? Panthers are red hot. It's all right. I'll be there to will a win. Don't you worry, dude. I'm going to be losing my voice tomorrow. The fact that walkways can't support people is the excuse. The reason is greed. See, that's what I'm leaning towards, dude. That's what I'm leaning towards. But then I would feel bad if they were like, fine, watch it from the walkway. And then the walkway collapsed and killed 40 people. Everything's over-engineered. There's no way that's the problem. Just they want people's money. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. But I'm just giving a little bit of daylight to be like, maybe the walkway can't support however many people would stand there. And I could see people getting crushed and stuff if like they're trying to like pack in on the walkways. I could see problems, but yeah, it still feels just slimy that they're so militant about people stopping for a second. Like, you can't even stop for a second to take a picture. That to me is like, come on. So it just pisses me off. You know, could you imagine, like, what if you were like born and raised in Las Vegas and you work on the strip and then like Formula One comes in and tells you can't stop in your own city? Hit the bricks, dude. No. My hair. I have my hair tied up. It's not good. I might shave my head soon though. I'm debating. Supposedly John Carpenter and Kurt Russell are going to make The Thing 2. Wow. As long as if the problem is if they make it, is it going to be like a glowy green screen ugly movie? You know, like Happy Gilmore 2 or Coming to America. What other ones did they do? I don't remember. I don't believe it's over an engineer. They said the same thing about the walkway literally collapsed out of nowhere in Florida. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, I also see the people in the powers that be in Vegas could have gotten a, lowest bidder to build their walkways. So I don't know. But yeah, so see you at Monday Night Football tomorrow. See you at a Sharks game soon. Go Sharks, dude. Macklin Celebrini's the GOAT. Join the Discord and give me topics. You know, we need to have more fun, dude, because I haven't been goofing as much lately. And I need to goof more. Talk to my lawyers, dude. Okay. I do maybe have some other collectibles to show next week that I'm excited about. We'll see, Otherwise, man, I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate the spirited debates. It's a good time, chopping game, you know what I mean? And, yeah. I got a couple more history videos coming out, too. I just hope you guys have a fantastic week. Let's go Niners. Let's get that win tomorrow. I'll be there, dude. Losing my mind, okay? Going to SF Fan Expo next Saturday. Dude, I want to go. I work Saturdays, though. Damn, I want to go. I want to go to more, like, conventions and stuff. That world is so... It's not unfamiliar to me, but, like, I want to be part of it. Get the last penny. Precious little national headlining goof. Thank you, man. Thank you. I try, Dude, try to get the last 2025 penny would be crazy. How would you even go about that? I mean, they gotta there's gotta be some, what's it called? Provenance to that, right? Like they're probably gonna put that penny in a museum. I don't know. Get a penny from 2025 though would be cool. I'm gonna miss the penny, man. What are they gonna do with the penny smashing machines? I love a smash penny. All right, Vertlife, appreciate you guys. One more thing that I've been trying to put these shirts out for like a year now. I just hit another roadblock with them. The shirts I wanted to use, I might not be able to use. So I'm trying to find alternates, and yeah, so I'm really excited about these shirts. I'm really, really excited about them. And I just keep having to delay it because I'm a perfectionist, dude, and I want them to be exactly how I want them. And, yeah, the penny is being discontinued. They're no longer They're no longer pressing pennies. Which is weird, right? No denomination for our smallest denomination. I don't know. Whatever. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Be safe. Love your families. Happy Thanksgiving. I will be here for a pre-Black Friday, post-Thanksgiving extravaganza. Hope you guys get to spend time with your families and appreciate them and build memories and all that. And I will see you next week.